Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having a great day today. And I am Emma Glory, your CRM and email marketing expert. And in this tutorial, we are going to be seeing how we can use Zoho campaigns in full details. So this is going to be a very long tutorial. I will advise that you take your time to watch every part of this video because every part is important, and I have broken down this video into different sections so it is easy for you to access the different sections, and so you can be able to skip any section that you know and go to the sections that you do not know. And in the next few hours, we are going to be diving into Zoho campaigns, and we are going to be exploring every single feature and learning how to set up and manage and optimize our email marketing campaigns from scratch. So this tutorial is designed specifically for beginners. If you have not sent out an email campaign before, if you don't even know how to use email campaigns, if you do not know how to use Zoho campaigns before, this tutorial is for you. And by the end of this video, you are going to feel confident with using Zoho campaigns to build forms, to manage lists, to create beautiful campaigns, and to automate follow-ups and track results. So what is Zoho campaigns? Zoho campaigns is actually an email marketing automation tools that allows you to send emails. It allows you to segment your audience, and it allows you to send bulk emails and personalized campaigns. It also allows you to track results all in one place. So it is your control center for email communications, and it is actually part of the Zoho suite. So if you are familiar with my channel, you know we speak Zoho here, and it is part of the Zoho One app. If you are using Zoho One, it is part of those apps that they are going to add into your Zoho One plan. And this is actually great because it is going to allow you to integrate with other Zoho apps. For instance, it is going to allow you integrate with Zoho CRM, with Zoho Forms, with Zoho Booking, with Zoho Meetings, and or many other Zoho apps. And it is also best for small businesses that needs a all-in-one tool instead of juggling multiple platforms together. For instance, if you're a real estate agent, you can collect leads from Zoho Forms, then you can nurture them in Zoho campaigns, and then you can sync them back into Zoho CRM for your sales pipeline. And I have created a detailed 3 hour course or 3 hour tutorial for Zoho Form. It is here above if you want to check it out. We discuss everything about Zoho Form, right from how to create a form and how to use all of the fields in Zoho Forms, and how we can also share and embed on our website. Everything can be found on that video. So all you need to do is to click on the link in the description below, and you are going to find the link to the Zoho Forms. So now let's see how we can set up a Zoho CRM account. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go into the Zoho campaign site, and as you can see, we are currently in that site, and it is zoho.com/campaigns, and you are going to see the part where it is showing you everything you can find in Zoho campaigns. Then you will see the part where it is going to tell you the different things that can be done, right from personalization to automations. You can do drag and drop workflows. You can set up your custom domain. You can increase your open rate by sending by using the send time optimization, by sending at the contact optimal time. You can see all of this feature, and you can just go through it to have an idea of how Zoho campaign works. And also, if you want to create a free account, all you need to do is just click on this part and fill in this form and put in your name, your email, and your password, and also your phone number, and also your region, so you can be able to fill in an account, so you can be able to create a new account. And also, if you don't want a free account, you can go into the pricing, and you can see all of the pricing that Zoho campaign has. And when you click on pricing, you are going to see this part where it is going to show you the different pricing plan that Zoho Campaign have, and you can see how each of them work. We have the forever free plan and we have the standard plan. We also have the professional plan. And as you can see in the forever free plan, we have up to 2K contacts, and we can send up to 6,000 emails per month, and we can add in up to 5 users, and we can use sign up forms. Whereas for the standard plan, we have unlimited emails and we have up to 10 users, and we can even do basic segmentations, and we have the ready to use email templates. We can also add in workflow for the standard plan. And for the professional plan, we have up to 20 users, and we can send unlimited emails, and we have the advanced segmentation, and we have the contact scoring and tags, and we have all of this feature. The best thing to do is to click on this complete feature comparison and see how each of this feature is compared. As you can see, we have the forever plan, we have the standard plan and the professional plan, and all of the features for each of them has been added. You can click on any one of them and click on get started, and you are going to be able to sign up for your account. And when you put in all of those details and click on sign up now, you are going to be able to sign up for your free account. So when you click on sign up, you can also start your 14-day free trial. So the 14-day free trial allows you to have an idea of how Zoho campaign work before you are able to commit your money into it. So when you sign it into your account, you are going to see this page where everything here will actually be blank because it is a new account, and because this is my regular account, that is why I am having all of this on my dashboard. So you are going to see your dashboard here, and you are going to see all of the recent campaigns you created, and the email campaigns. If it is a new account, it is going to be blank, and if it is the account you are using, you are going to see all of these details in here. So now let's explore the Zoho Campaigns dashboard. And as you can see, the first menu is the dashboard, and it gives us a snapshot into each campaigns that have been created, and it gives us also a snapshot of the marketing and non-marketing contact that we currently have. And we can also go to the campaigns menu, and we can see that we can send out email campaigns and we can send out SMS campaigns. Whereas the contact menu, it is where we manage all of our lists and all of our contacts, and it is also where we can be able to manage topics, and we can also sync contacts from Zoho CRM, from Zoho Begin into Zoho Campaigns. We also have the segments part where we can be able to create different segments based on the contact interaction in Zoho Campaigns. We can also create a sign up form, and we can create contact scoring and contact tags. And we have the part for the automation where we can be able to create an automation from scratch, and we can also be able to create responders. And we have the e-commerce part where we can connect our e-commerce store into Zoho Campaign. So if you have your e-commerce store like Shopify, like Zoho Commerce, you can also connect that into Zoho Campaigns, so that you can be able to send emails directly connected to your e-commerce store. So if there's abandoned cart, if there is customers that have not bought your products for a long while, you can be able to follow up with them directly from Zoho Campaigns. And we have the library where we can be able to see all of our images that have been added to Zoho Campaigns. We can see all of our workflow templates, our form templates, and we can see all of the attachments that can be used in each email, and we can see all the email templates that have been created by us. We can also go to the report where we can see the sent campaign, we can see the campaign based report, and we can see the list based reports and the SMS campaigns based report. And this is going to help you track all of your campaigns, and you are going to see what works, and we are going to see the open rate, the click-through rate, and all of this will be shown in the report page. So if you go back to the dashboard, you are going to see all of these that it's showing on your dashboard, and we can actually decide to edit each of these components or each of these widgets. So all you need to do is come into this little button here, and when you click on it, you are going to see the page 1 and you are going to see the page 2. And for page 2, we can see that we have all of those widgets added for page 2. And for page 1, we can also see all of those widgets has been added. And when you click on cancel and you go back, you are going to see that this is page 1 and this is page 2. So when you click on this second tiny button, you can see what is in your page 2. And as you can see, it's showing upcoming holidays. It is showing my mailing list. It is showing my campaign list and all of these. So we can decide what we can see and what we do not want to see in each pages. So you click on the button again, and as you can see for page 1, we can decide that we want to add in contacts, and we can decide that we want to add in our plan in here. So we can also decide to remove any of this just by dragging it and dropping it into the unselected block. So if you need anything, just drag them and bring them in, and if you do not need anything, drag them back into the unselected block area. So if you want to check your activities for the next 24 hours, you can just drag that back in, and you can bring in your autorespondent also. So when you are done, you click on save, and when you click on save, that has been saved. Do not forget, you can also do the same thing for page 2. And for page 2, you can decide to remove some widgets that you do not need, and you can decide to add what you need. So remember that all you need to do is just to drag them to the unselected block if you do not need them, and you can drag them back if you need them. When you are done again, you click on save, and that has been saved. And when you go back into your dashboard, you are going to see all of the changes you just made in your dashboard. So when you go to page 1, as you can see, we can see our contact in here for the last you can see the contact, we can see the new contact, and we can also see the unsubscribe and the bounce rate. Also, we can see our recent campaign, we can see our plan, the plan we are currently on, and it's showing Zoho 1 Enterprise, and that is because I am currently on Zoho 1. It is also going to show you your next it is also going to show you your next renewal date, and you can see the recent campaigns you just sent out to people. You can also see your marketing and your non-marketing contacts. So the difference between marketing and non-marketing contact is that for non-marketing contacts, we cannot send out campaigns to them. We cannot also send out automation emails to them. We cannot like message those contacts. While for marketing contacts, we can send any email to them, whether it is one-on-one, whether it is automation, and whether it is whatever email you want to use, you can send it out to them. So this is going to help you track what the number of marketing contacts you have and the number of non-marketing contacts that you have. You can also see all of those other widgets in here, and you can do whatever it is you want from here. So when you click on go to overview, it's going to take you to your overview, your dashboard overview. And when you click on create, you can be able to create email campaigns directly from your dashboard, or you can even create sign up form or mailing list, or you can even do a contact sync with a third party software, and you can also create automations from your dashboard. So when you go back to your dashboard, then you can also add in contacts from your dashboard over here. You can view your reports, and you can also do all of this. So let's go into campaigns settings, and you can see that we have emails and SMS campaign, which we are going to come to in a minute. But when you go to your contacts and you click on all contacts, you are going to see all of the contacts that you currently have in Zoho campaign. So remember that contacts are people who you are sending your campaigns to. So they can be your subscribers, they can be your list, or they can be your customers. So they can be organized into lists, and you can also filter them into segments. So we will break down how to do all of this shortly. And also remember that lists are like a container of contacts, whereas segments are actually filters inside all of those contacts. So it is starting from contacts, then lists, then segments. So if you want to add in a new contact, you can do that by creating an add new, and you can decide to add multiple contacts if you want. And when you click on multiple contacts, you can put in all of those details at once. And all you need to do is put in the details, the emails, the first name, the last name, and the company name, and all of these. And you can decide to add them into a mailing list that you have. And you can also decide to make all of this marketing contact or non-marketing contact, and you can also decide to override the subscription type for existing contact if there is any existing contact in Zoho Campaigns. So you can also decide to add this checkbox here, and you can decide to add in a topic, and you just click on add, and all of the multiple contacts will be added. So the next one, which is to import a contact into Zoho Campaigns, you can decide to import through a CSV file or an Excel file or an Excel sheet, whichever works for you. All you need to do is just select the file, and it's going to take you into this place where you can be able to select a file, whether from your Google Drive or from your OneDrive account, or you can even decide to drag in from your computer, whichever works for you. And when you bring in the file, it is going to map directly into Zoho Campaigns, and you will be able to bring in all those contacts. We'll be seeing that in a minute. But when we go back and we go back to the last method, which is the sync method, we can also decide to sync directly from any third party tool, like any other Zoho apps that we have. You can decide to sync with Zoho CRM to bring in all of the leads from Zoho CRM, or to bring in all of the contact from Zoho CRM. You can also sync with Zoho Begin, and you can sync with all of these apps. And when you decide to make your sync, you can associate the account, and that can be synced in. We will see how to do that also in a minute. So when you go back to contact and you go back to all of your contacts, like I said, you will be able to see all of your contacts in here, and you can also decide to filter this contacts based on these different filters in here. You can say you want to check for contact owner, maybe from me, or you can also check in any other user you have. Because I am the sole user of this account, that is where other users are not showing up. But if you have other users in your account, you can decide to filter based on those users. You can decide to see the contacts that belong to other users in your account. You can also decide to use the tags and see all of the tag contacts, and you can see all the untagged contacts, and you can also see all contacts that have been tagged with a specific tag in your Zoho Campaigns account. For the score, you can decide to check in the contact score for each contact. And let's imagine that you want to check in for contacts who have 50 to 100 contact score. You can just select the from and just add in 50, and the two can be 100. And when you are done, you just click on apply, and that will be applied. You can also check in for associated topics. You can see people who have different associated topics like marketing. If you have different topics that have been added to your Zoho Campaigns account, you can check from here and just check for different topics. You can also do the last one where you can see the activities that have been done by the contact. You can see who have clicked on emails, and you can see who have opened on emails from the filter also. So when you are done, just click on apply, and that filter you have added will be applied to your contact, and you can see all contacts that belongs to that filter. And also when you click on more, you can be able to export your contacts from Zoho Campaigns into an Excel file, and you can also decide to import to unsubscribe contacts, and you can decide to add to unsubscribe contacts, and you can check your import review. So the next one under the contact is to manage your list. So like I said, a list is a collection of subscribers that have been grouped together based on how they are signed up. So let's say you want to create a list, and you only want that list to be all your website leads, anyone coming from your website to be in that list. You can create a list, and that list will be created, and you can add in your website contact into that list. So to create a list, all you need to do is to just click on create list, and when you click on create list, you can add in the name of your list. So let's name this list website contact. So after adding the name of the list, you can click on save, and when you click on save, your list has been created. You can also decide to use any of this method to add in contacts into this list. You can decide to add manually, or you can also decide to import contact from a CSV file, or you can decide to sync contact directly from Zoho CRM or any other apps. Like I said, like I showed you before, you can also decide to use a sign up form to collect contacts into this particular list. And that means when you create that sign up form and put that sign up form on your website, when people fill in that website, those contacts will be coming directly into this particular list. So whichever method you use, you can go on with that, and I'm going to show you how to do each of them in a minute. So let's say I'll do them later, and let's go back. So as you can see, your website list has been created, and you can also see the contacts view, and you can see the response view also. So you can see the recent campaigns that have been sent to this particular list. You can see the responsive contacts for this list, and you can also see the contact location and their activities also. So you can also go to the contact. Let's go back to contact view, and we can also see the list summary. And because we have no contact in here, we cannot see the list summary. You can also click on the form in here and see the form that has been added for this list. You can also decide to click on setup, and the setup is just going to show you the list settings for that particular list. And as you can see, the list owner is me, and we have this enabled so that sign up forms, when we create a sign up form, we can associate that sign up form to this list. And this is your list key, which you can add into whatever you want to use it for. And the list notification, you can add in a list notification when people subscribe to this list. And you can also click on this button here to check in the campaigns, and you can see those campaigns that have been sent to the particular contact in this list. And you can also see the webhooks that have been attached to this list. So when we go back to contact and we click on topic, the topic just allows you to create different types of topics which your contacts are going to be interested in. So let's say, for instance, you want to create topics like newsletter, or like marketing, or like brand updates, or event updates, or whatever it is. You can create those topics, and you can allow your contact to pick whatever topics they want for their email newsletters. So that means you can allow contacts to be able to select different topics according to their preference, and this will allow you to be able to reduce your unsubscribe, because if people are able to pick their preference and you are sending emails according to their preference, it is going to reduce your unsubscribe rate. So you can decide to click on add topic to add in a topic. So let's add in a new topic, and let's just add in something like brand updates. So you can add in that as a new topic, and you can just add this as a description for your topic. So we can say brand updates here also. So you can add in whatever description works for you. And when you add in your description, you can click on save, and your topic has been saved. So people can be able to select this particular topic as their preference, and we can send emails according to their preference. You can decide to add multiple topics if you want, and also you can also group topics under a particular product. So when you have in your product in here, you can decide to create different products, and you can also decide to group different topics under that same product. So when you are done, you click on save, and let's cancel this. You can also decide to edit this, and when you edit this, you can also be able to add in your logo. You can add in your brand name and your brand description, and you can ask them to select the newsletters they would like to receive. And remember that this page is when people want to unsubscribe from your list. This page will be shown to them, and so we can be able to ask them directly what they want from us. Like, do they want to unsubscribe from every of our topics, or do they just want particular updates about our brand? And when you set all that up, you can click on save, and when you click on save and you add in all of this, that will be updated. So let's click on close, and let's go back. And also the next one after the topics is the sync services. And for sync services, we can decide to sync our Zoho Campaigns account. So we can decide to sync directly from a third party account or from other Zoho apps. So let's say we want to sync with Zoho CRM. All we need to do is click on associate new account. And when you click on associate new account, it's going to take you to this page where it is asking you for all of these. So when you click on continue, your account is going to be synced. And please remember that this account, it will be synced to the particular Zoho CRM for your account. So what that means is that if you are using a particular Zoho one account, it is going to sync to the Zoho CRM of that particular account. So we have, my organization is actually Glory Words, and I am under Zoho One subscription, and it's going to sync directly to my Zoho CRM account that is in my Zoho One subscription. I hope that's clear enough. So you can then decide to create an active sync, and let's try to create an active sync. And when you click on new sync, it is going to ask you the module you want to sync from. So if you have created custom modules in Zoho CRM, you can also be able to add that to this sync. And if you don't know how to create a custom module in Zoho CRM, I have a video up here where you can check to see how to create a custom module from scratch and how to use it in Zoho CRM. So for instance, we can use the lead in Zoho CRM, we can use the contact, and I have this patient module, which is a custom module I created in that video, and you can also use your custom modules for this sync. So now we'll be using leads, and when you click on leads that have been added, you can also decide to sync to a particular list in your Zoho CRM, your Zoho campaign account. So this is the new list we just created, which is called website contact. We can decide to add this particular leads into this list in here. So you can do that, or you can even create a mailing list from scratch scratch in here, and that will be added also. So when you click on the list you want to add that in, you can also decide to remove converted leads from this list, and that means that any converted leads that have been converted to contact will be removed from this list when this sync is done. So we can also decide to name this as marketing as our subscription plan, and that means that everyone under this marketing subscription type has given us the permission to receive our emails. And if it is for non-subscription, that means we do not have the rights to send them emails. We are just adding them as contacts, and it's actually not going to reflect on our subscription plan. So let's just click on marketing. That means we have the right to send them emails. We can also decide to choose the topics for this particular sync, but it is optional. You can decide to pick whether it is brand updates, or if it is marketing, or if there's any other brand topic, any other topic you have added. You can also decide to update your empty fields, and what this means is that when an update is done in Zoho CRM and a particular field is removed, then that will also be done in Zoho Campaigns. You can also decide to turn this on if you want that setting to be done, or you can decide to turn it off so that changes will not be done for the empty fields. You can also decide to exclude the contacts that have opt out, and you can decide to remove contacts that have opt out of Zoho CRM records. So when you are done with all the settings, you click on next, and when you click on next, it's going to take you to the next page where you can map the different fields, the different Zoho CRM fields to the different Zoho campaign fields. So we can decide to map more fields. So you just choose whichever fields you want to choose from Zoho CRM. You can decide to map company, and then you can look for company in Zoho campaign and map that in also. So company with company names, and you click on add. You can do this for all of the fields you want to bring from Zoho CRM into Zoho campaigns. And please note that this mapping is very important to bring out the details from Zoho CRM into Zoho campaigns. If you are not adding any particular field, it is not going to show up in Zoho campaigns. Only the field you have mapped in here is going to show up in Zoho campaigns. So you have to be very careful of what you are mapping in. And it's also saying in here that if the number of marketing contacts to be synced exists our contact limit for the particular plan that we are on, it is going to automatically be upgraded. So you click on initiate, and when you click on initiate, as you can see, this is a summary of everything of it. We can also see the field mapping in here, and we can see the particular field that has been mapped from Zoho CRM to Zoho Campaigns, and we can also see our sync history in here. So it is going to show the sync in progress, and you can see all of the contacts or all of the leads that are coming into Zoho Campaigns. And this is for the sync history. You can see the ones that have been added, and you can see the ones that have been updated and the ones that have been skipped. You can also decide to pause the sync if that works for you, and when you click on pause, that is going to pause your sync from Zoho CRM. So when you go back in here, and as you can see, you can add in a new sync if you want. So you can do the same process we've done for any of your custom modules, or you can do it for your contact field in Zoho CRM, whichever one works for you, and go through the same process we just went through. So let's go back and let's check on. So let's create segments. So a segment is different from a list in a way that a list is a static combination of leads. So that means if you add in a contact to a list, you cannot update them. You can only update or add more to that list if you are importing to that list, or if you try to import to that list, or you just decide to remove and add in contacts manually to a list. A segment is actually different from a list, and a segment is filtered based on some particular rules that we have set, and we can also decide to use the contact responses, or we can use the contact activities to create a segment. So when you click on create segments, you are going to see here where you can create a segment, and you are going to be able to add in the name of your segment, and you can then add in the criteria for your segment. So let's say for this segment we want to search for all of those people who have opened our emails in the past 12 months. We can be able to do that by using segments. So we can name this newsletter subscriber list, and we can also decide the criteria that has to be done for this particular segment. So we can say that we want to check for the different fields we have in Zoho campaigns. We can say if the website address is available, or if the website is not empty, or if the website is empty, or if the website ends with something, or if the website contains something. We can also do the same thing for all of the fields we are bringing in from Zoho CRM, remember, through the sync. So we can also say for the contact, the consent fields, we can say if they agree to a policy. Sorry, we can say if the social media field is available. That means we have the Twitter handle, or we have the Facebook handle, or the LinkedIn handle. We can also say that we want to check the contact based on a particular list. We can say the contact that is in a particular list. We can pick maybe website contact. We can also say that we want to check for webinar fields. We want to check for e-commerce. We also want to check for the CRM deal fields and the CRM account fields. The most common one that people use is the one for the contact activities. So we can use the tag also. We can say if you want to check in contact that have a particular tag in Zoho campaigns. We can say if you want to check for the contact call, or if you want to check for the contact source also. So if you can say the source is then a particular something, you can add that in. You can also check in for the campaign activities. So if it is for any campaign that is sent, or if it is opened, or if it is not opened, you can also do this. So let's say we want to check in for campaigns that have been opened, and we want to check for maybe the particular time that has been opened. So we can say we want to check in for campaigns that have been opened for the last 180 days. And if there is anybody that have opened any of the campaigns we have sent out in the last 180 days, they will be added to this segment. We can also decide to add in another criteria, and we can say we want to check in for another thing. And if they open this email, we also want to check if the job title is maybe manager, or if the job title is CEO, or you can even say if the job title contains a particular thing, or we can say if the job title doesn't contain a particular thing. So we can say we want to check in for the job title and it contains manager. Then what we are saying is that for anybody to be added to this segment, they must have opened any campaigns that we have sent to them in the last 180 days, and their job title contains manager. So that means we are using the hand. So what that means is that both criteria must be fulfilled before any of these contacts can be added into this segment. We can also use or if we don't want to use hand, and we can say, and if we use or, what we are saying is that one of these two must be fulfilled before this contact can be able to enter into the segment. So that means the contact must have opened a campaign in the last 180 days, or the job title contains manager, fill if any contacts fulfill any of these criteria, they will be added to the segment. So you can decide to add multiple criteria if you want. And when you change in all of these, you click on save. And when you click on save, your new segment has been created. And when you go into your contact, you can see everyone that has that particular, you can see everyone that has that particular criteria, or anyone that fulfill that particular criteria. And as you can see, we have these three contacts in here. So as you can see, the job title does not have manager, and that means the order criteria has been fulfilled, which is they have opened our emails in the last 180 days. So you can decide to edit this particular segment if you want. And when you edit it, it's going to take you to the page where you can edit some things, and you can click on save when you finish editing, and it's going to take you back to this page. You can decide to delete this segment if you want, and you can decide to create a particular campaign for this segment, or you can decide to do any of this. You can also decide that you want to change the subscription type for all those people in this segment, and you can pick the subscription type you want to change to, and you can click on save and change. When you click on change, this will be changed to the marketing type. You can also decide to clone this segment. That means you want to recreate the segment, and you can decide to perform a mass update. You can decide to update the particular field, or you want to update a particular value of field. You can decide to update the contact score to maybe 100, or the contact source. You can decide to update the contact source if you want, or just update whatever field works for you. And when you are done, you click on proceed, and you can be able to update that. You can also decide to export all of the contacts that are in this particular segment, and you can decide to save this segment as a list. And you can also decide that you want to delete all of the contacts in this list, and you can also reset the contact score to a particular score. So when you're done with segments and you've added in all of the settings, you can go back. So that is all for segments. Now let's see the next one, which is our sign up forms. And for sign up forms, remember that we can create sign up forms, and we can embed the sign up forms on our website. We can also send the sign up form as links to individuals through email, or we can even add in those sign up forms as link in on our website also, so that people can be able to fill in this form, and they can be able to so we can be able to get those details into Zoho Campaigns. So let's see how we can create a sign up form. So remember that sign up forms are a bridge between our website and our email list, so that whenever anybody fills out this form, whether it's on our site or we are sending the link in an email, or wherever this form has been placed, when people start putting in their details into this form, it is going to be synced directly into Zoho Campaigns. So when you click on create form, you are going to see the page where you can add in the name of your form, and you can choose a particular template for your form. So when you click on choose template, it is going to take you to the page where you can see the different types of form that can be created. We have the compact form, we have the banner form, and we have the long forms, and we have the standard pop-up, and we also have the standard pop-up forms, and we have the blanket forms and the save templates. So let's see how each of them works. So for the compact form, it's just like a short form, which actually just have the email and the name, so it is just for short and quick sign-ups. And we have the banner form, which you can embed on your website, and people can be able to add this to their website, and people can be able to add in their emails and their names. And we have the long form. The long form is actually a very long form where people can be able to put in multiple details on that form. So as the name implies, it's actually a long form where you can add in multiple fields on this particular form. And we have the standard pop-up, which is going to pop up on your website or on your landing pages or wherever you had them into. So we have the blanket pop-up. The blanket pop-up is just a type of pop-up that is going to cover the whole page of your website. So people will have to fill in this form, and when they fill in the form and they click on submit, then it will be gone. So it is from the name blanket, it covers the whole page of your website. And we also have the save templates, where you can be able to see all of the templates you have created for your forms, and you can see all of that templates in here. So for the sake of tutorial, we are going to be creating a compact form, which is a simple form where people can just put in their name and their emails. You can pick in all of these templates that they have in here. They have various templates you can actually pick from. You can just pick whichever one works for you. And when you pick on that, you just click on any of it and you can use that template. So let's find a simple one and let's see the one we can use. I want something very simple, so I'm just going to pick this. And when you click on use template, it is going to take you to this page of your form, and you can decide to add in the body of your, this is the part to customize your form. And we have this page body, which you can decide to change this image, or you can even use a background color if that works for you. You can decide to change this image and pick whichever image you want. You can decide to use your library images, or you can also use the ones you have uploaded already, or you can upload from your computer and put them in here. So this is the page, this is the part where you can pick what you want to edit. You can decide to change this and change the background image. You can also decide to add in a text. This begin now, you can change it to whatever you want. And let's change it to, so we can change this text to subscribe to our newsletter, and we can decide to add in a font color, and we can change this font to, we can change this text to whatever color we want. We can also decide to change this particular font type, and we can use what font type we want. And we can also increase this to whatever font we want to use. And we can also decide to add in a background color to this. And I don't want that, so I'm just going to remove this. So you can change the background color. We can decide to add in a border. You can also decide to add in a border color for this. And you can also decide to change the width and the length of this. So let's just increase the width to this. Yeah. So you can also decide to increase the height for this text and add in whichever one works for you. And when you're done, oh sorry, I want to remove this border. So I'll just take this off. I'm just going to include none. When you're done with all of this, and you go back, and you can see the part where you can adjust this also. So you can decide to delete this text and add in whatever text you want. You can change this the font to whatever you want for this particular paragraph text. You can also change the background color and the border and all of this. You can also decide to impute field name. So we have the one for name, and you can decide to say that you want to add this as first name, or you can decide to change it to whatever works for you. So I've added this as first name, and we can also use last name, whichever works for you. And you click on go back, and you are going to see the input field for the email address. We can also decide to change that to whatever you want. When you click on it, you can decide to change the label or the text, whichever works for you. And when you go back, you can also decide to edit your button also, and you can add in another background color for your button. You can use blue, you can use whichever color works for you. And for the text inside, we can decide to change the text to white, or you can decide to change it to whatever color. So let's increase this to 18. Yeah. And when you're done, you just go back and you click on your error message also. So the error message is going to show up when maybe they did not fill the particular field they were supposed to, or they did not put in a particular detail in the form. The error message is going to show up. And also when you go back, you are going to see the setup page, where you can also decide that you want to map this name into the first name, or you want to map it into the you want to map the first this name, you want to map it into last name, or you want to map it into first name. Since we are asking for their first name, the right thing to do is to map into first name. So when you are done, you click on save, And when you click on save, all what you've done has been saved. You can also decide to reset this form, and it's going to reset it to the original design of this form. And you can also decide that you want to change this template. You do not like this template and you want to change it to something else. So you can decide to pick whichever template is this from here. You can pick the banner form, or you can pick the long form. And when you click on change, it is going to use that particular template and it's going to change the particular template we just finished designing. So when you click on use template, and it's going to ask you that you are picking another template, do you want to change? And when you click on go ahead, this template is going to be changed to another type. So this is for the long form, and for the long form, we can add in various fields for the long form. So for the long form, you can also decide to drag in whatever field you want to add for this particular form. So let's say we want to add in their job title, you can just drag that in here and break that in. For each of the fields, you can decide to edit this, and instead of using job title, you can ask something like what do you do. But when they put in that details, it is going to be mapped into job title. You can decide that you want to mark this field as a required field, or you want to mark it as an hidden field, whichever works for you. And when you're done, you click on save. You can also see that we have the contact email, and it has been mapped as required already. It is defaultly mapped as required. So you can also decide to add in all of this field in here. You can ask for their country, you can ask for the city and their address. You can also ask for mobile, and when you bring mobile in here, you can also be able to edit that and mark as required, or you can also hide the field if that works for you. When you're done, you click on save, and as you can see, captcha has been added, and we can leave that in make sure that the uh, we do not have bots putting in information on our form. You can also decide I want to add in a logo. You can pick from your library and just add in a logo from your library. So I'm just going to pick something simple. So I'm just going to pick this, and I'm just going to add in this logo to this form, and that logo is going to be added to my form. And I can decide to change this logo, or I can decide to delete this, or whichever works for me. And I can also decide that for the logo, I want to increase the width. After adding whatever field I want to add, I've added all the fields. I can also decide to add in the topics. So for the topics, I can say that we want to add in a marketing topic. We can also decide to add the topics in here so that we can be able to ask them what topics they are interested, and they can be able to choose their preference, whether they want to hear marketing newsletters from us, or they want brand updates, or they want newsletters, or they want brand events and all of those things. You can add that as your topic, and you can add that in your form also. You can also decide to add in special elements, and we have capture. We can also decide to add in the privacy notes, and we can add in multiple topic selections. Yeah, that has been chosen. And we can also decide to use our own capture if you want, or you can use Zoho Campaigns capture. So let's use Zoho Campaigns capture. And yeah, that has been added. And when you click on page in here, it is going to ask you for all of the settings, and you can also be able to change the particular font for this form, or you can even decide that you want to increase this font to, let's say, 18. So we can also decide to change the background color of the form. Instead of using this blue, we can say we want to use red, or we can decide to use green, or we can even decide to use black, whichever works for you. And when you pick in the color you want to use, you click on choose. And when you click on choose, that particular color has been updated. You can also decide that you want to use a background image and not a background color. And when you pick in the particular image you want to use and you click on open, it is going to be added as your background image. So as you can see, it has added that image as my background image, but since it's looking awkward, so I'm just going to take it off. So I'm just going to go back and click on this as my background color. The next one is for my form title. I can decide to increase this text to whatever I want. I can say I want to increase it to 20. Oh, sorry, that's for my form title. This is my form title here. This join our newsletter is my form title. I can decide to increase this font and just increase it to whatever font size I want. So I can say I want to increase this to 36, and I can also decide to put this in the middle. I can also decide to change the color of this title, and I can use whatever color works for me. And let's change this to this. We can also decide to change in the background color of this title, and we can use white if that works for us, or we can use red, or we can use whatever color works for you. When you are done, you click on choose. And also for this, you can decide to use the dotted border, or you can decide to use the dash border. And also for the body, you can decide to pick the font for the body. So we have this body one, and we can decide to increase this font to 13, and we can decide to change this color to maybe red, or we can also decide to change the background color for the body to black. And as you can see, it changes to black, but let's use white, or let's use another color if that works for us. You can also click on choose, and that will be done. You can also decide to add in a border, and you can click a solid border, and you can also pick the color for your border. So you can say you want to use red for your border, and you want to increase the pixel of your border to 4, and as you can see, it has increased my border. Yeah, so that is for body. We can also say that for the field, that is the each of the field, we want to increase the font size to maybe 14 or 15, or whichever works for you. And we can also change the font that has been used. So when you type it in, you are going to see the font that is being used, and you can see the size also. You can also decide to change the field to blue. That means if we type in anything, it's going to be in blue color. Or we can also decide I want to add in a border for each field, and we can decide to add the color of the border for each field. As you can see, the border has been added, and we can decide to increase the pixel of the border if we want, and we can add in the padding and the field label. This is for the field label, so this is will be for this label, the contact email, and all of this. We can also decide to increase this to 18, and the field label will be increased to 18. We can also decide to change the color of the field label, and we can add in whatever color works for us. And when you add in that color and you click on choose, that has been added. And we can also do the same thing for the button, where we can change our button size. We can increase the font for the button. We can make it 20, and as you can see, that has been increased. And we can also decide to change in the color of our button to maybe blue or whatever works for us. And remember that we have the border, and we can decide to change in the border color also, and we can use whatever color works for us. So let's use this, and that has been updated. Let me use another color. Yeah, so you can decide to change the pixel of your border size to maybe 5 pixel or 1 or 2, and if you use 2, it's going to be reduced. And you can change in your border radius also, and you can change in the size, the padding to the left and to the right, and all of the paddings. So for the logo, you can decide to increase the logo width if you want, or you can decide to choose any of these if you want to align to the center, or you want to align to the right, or align to the left. So let's just align to the center. And we can also change the aspect ratio if you want. Instead of using the original aspect ratio, which is going to show the original size, you can also decide to use the custom aspect ratio, and that means you can be able to change the width and the height to whichever pixel you want. And that is it for the logo. So when you are done with all of the settings in here, you can then click on save. And when you click on save, your changes has been saved. And you can also decide to change the template again if you want, and you can also decide to preview your form to see how it is going to look like to subscribers. So when you click on preview form, as you can see, this is your form. As you can see, this is your form, and this is how it is going to show up in your subscribers page. And now when you go back to this, and you can click on save and proceed, and when you click on save and proceed, it's going to take you to this page, and you can edit the design again, or you can preview this form. Then let's name this form our website sign up form, and you click on this check, and that has been changed. And we can also decide to associate a mailing list to this form, and we can say that we want to add this mainly anybody that filled in this form should be added to the website's contact list. So that means if they fill in this form, they will be added to this list. And you can click on associate, and that has been done. You can also decide to configure a topic for this particular form. So that means anybody that filling this form will be added to the marketing topic and be added to the brand update topic. And when you pick in the topic, you click on associate, and that has been associated. And we can also decide to edit this response in here. So we can also decide to set up the thank you page. When we click on edit response, it's going to take you to the page for the for when there is a new contact. This is going to be the page that will be showing, which is going to be welcome to our new our company name will be added in here. And we can also decide to edit this thank you page, and we can write in whatever we want in here. We can also decide to bring in our logo, and our logo will be, you can choose your logo here and you can update that. So when you're done with the thank you page settings, you click on save, and that will be saved. You can also do that for existing contacts, and for existing contacts is going, you can decide to add in another thank you page which is going to show for existing contacts. So we can say something like thank you for completing the form, we have updated your details with us, or you can add in whatever you want. And for resubscribe email, we can say when someone decides to opt out of this list, we can decide to send them this message so that they can be able to resubscribe to our mailing list. Okay, so when you click on cancel, you can say that on submission you want to be able to redirect them to a sign up form, the sign up thank you page that we just saw. And on confirmation, we can decide to redirect them to a thank you page, a confirmation thank you page, and this will be the confirmation thank you page. And remember that you can be able to edit all of this when you click on edit response. So you can decide to show your advanced options, where you can see where you can be able to track. You can add in a tracking test where you can be able to track in all of these details. And you can also decide to push to Zoho CRM. So if these leads are coming in from here, you can decide that you want to push them to Zoho CRM, and you can decide to update existing contacts, or you only want to you can decide that you want to update and push in new contact into Zoho CRM, or you can also decide that you only want to update existing contacts. So if any contact is coming in from your website and they are coming through this form into Zoho Campaigns, this contact is going to be updated, or new ones are going to be created in Zoho CRM. You click on save when you're done, and that has been saved. And you can also decide to configure your mapping, and when you configure your mapping, you can see where you can be able to pick the account, and you can pick which module you want to map this with. So you can say that you want to map this with the leads module in your CRM, or you want to map it with the contact module, or you want to map it with the custom module you have created. So let's choose leads, and let's click on save. And this is going to show the real-time data after connecting this. You can see those people that have been pushed to Zoho CRM, and you can see those people who skipped from entering Zoho CRM. You can also decide to push to workflow, and what this means that when come and they fill in this form, we want to be able to add them to a particular workflow that we have created in Zoho Campaigns. So that means when they are added to this list, automatically that workflow starts for them. So you can decide to select whatever workflow we have, and currently I do not have any workflow available, so nothing is showing up in here. So let's say we have a workflow. All I just need to do is to select the workflow, and when I click on select, I can be able to associate with that particular workflow. So let's just cancel this. And after you made sure that all of this has been done, you can then click on launch. When you click on launch, your sign up form has now been created. So when you go back in here and you go back to your forms, you can see that your website form has been created, and you can decide to get the code to embed this sign up form into your website. So you can decide to use this and embed this. So all you need to do is just to copy this form and to place this form on your website. So I have added in a video where I did in details how to embed your website form, how to embed your Zoho forms. Is exactly the same method. So you can watch the video in here to embed this form on your website. So you can also do that for your WordPress code. You can do that for your short URL code. So this is the code where you can be able to add to your emails so that people can be able to click on the link and it will take them to the form where they can be able to fill in the form. And this will be for your QR code where people can be able to scan this QR code and they can be able to sign up to the form. And this is going to be for the button where it is going to generate this code where you can add this button to your email campaigns. And we have the one for iframe code which you can add to your website also. So you can also decide to edit by clicking on edit, and you can decide to clone this particular form you just created by clicking on the clone, and that is going to duplicate the form. You can also click on more to edit the responses, or you can remove from default, or you can even save the template and you can delete if you want, or you can check in the report and see the number of people that have filled in this form. So that is all for sign up form. The next one we want to check out is the contact scoring. So for contact scoring, we can assign scores to contacts based on their activities or based on how they are engaged with our content or based on the sources they are coming from or based on anything or maybe the contact detail or anything at all. So we can decide to add in a contact scoring. And as you can see, we have the scores already. So we can decide to edit this. This is the one for campaign settings, and we can decide to edit this. And when you click on edit, we can be able to edit all of this score. So we are saying that when a contact opens any campaign, we want to add in 10 points for that contact score. Or where there is a multiple open, we want to add in 20 points. And when there's a unique click, there's 20 points. And when they reply, when if it's a positive reply, we want to add in a 5 points, and if it is a unique reply, we want to add in 15. So we can also do that if they opt in, we can do that if they tell a friend, and if they unsubscribe from our emails, we want to add in a negative point. So that means the points will be deducted from the total points that they currently have. So if a contact is at 50 points and they unsubscribe, that means we want to take out 15 points from their particular contact score. We can also do that for the negative reply. If they give in a negative reply, we want to also decide to deduct from their main contact score. So you can decide to edit this to whatever you want. You can make this 10, you can edit it whichever way you want, and when you're done, you click on save, and that is for the contact the campaign settings. So for the contact clarification, you can decide that you want to check in for the most engaged, and you can decide to add in a particular total score for your most engaged. So you can decide that the most engaged contact should be accounts that are greater than 50. So if an account is greater than 50, we can then decide that we want to add that. Apart from the rules we just added for the email campaign rules, we can also decide to create a custom rule, and we can set in different criteria for the custom rule. So we can also decide that you want to check in by the comment count, want to check in by the open by countries. So if they're opening from a particular country and they're from a particular country, let's say if we get an open and they're from Nigeria, since we are in the country Nigeria. So if we get any open from Nigeria, we can say that we want to add in maybe 5 points or want to add in 10 points for this particular field. So we can name this, let's just name this from Nigeria. So that means if anybody is from Nigeria and these they open any of our campaigns, then 10 points will be added. We can also decide to add in another criteria, and we can use the and or, whichever one works for you. And when you are done, you click on save. And when you click on save, and you can click on save, and that will be added for your custom rules. Remember that you can do this for various custom rules. You can also decide to add in a feed-based scoring rule, and what that means is that you can add scores based on the custom fields. So we have the custom fields like the website, the LinkedIn handle, and all of those. We can decide to add in scoring based on all of those custom fields. So when you click on configure now, it is going to take you to the page where you can be able to configure this. So you can decide to name this scoring. So you can say something like basic field, so let's say something like basic field scoring, and that means we can say that we want to add in certain score for any of these settings we want to do now. So we can say if the contact email is not empty, we want to add in a score. So that means if the contact email is not empty, then that means we want to add in maybe 10 points, or we want to add in 20 points, or whichever points works for you. We can also say that if the contact source is from a particular place, we can also add in a point for that. So let's say we want to say that the contact score is not empty, or we want to say the contact score contains, and we can put in whatever you want to put in. So let's say the contact score, the contact source contains websites, and if it contains websites, we want to add in 10 points. We can also decide to add in multiple criteria for this page, and we can say after checking the contact source, and we want to also check for the job title of the person. If the contact source is websites and the job title also contains manager, we want to be able to assign 10 points to this particular contact. So we can decide to add manager here. So we are saying that if the contact source is website and the job title is manager, then we should add 10 points to this contact. So you click on create when you are done, and when you click on create, your custom fit scoring has been set up. Remember that you can do this for various of the custom fields you want to use. You can do this for every of your custom fields, even those ones coming from your you can also do this for those people coming from the fields from your Zoho CRM. So you can also decide to check the score views in here, and we can say that we want to create a new view, and we want to see contact whose score is equals to a particular number, or we want to see those people that are greater than or equals to a particular number. We can say we want to see those people that are less than or equals to 50, and if they are less than or equals to 50, we can name this code leads. So if their score is less than 50, that means they are code leads actually. And we can say that if the score is 50 in all time, or we can say for the past 7 days, or we can say maybe between a particular date, or we can say after a particular date. So we can say that if the score is 50 and the scoring period is after a particular date and it's still 50, then this view will be created. Or we can just use all time to see for every time, to see from when the contact has been created. So we can do this for particular mailing list, or we can do this for all mailing lists, and we can click on save when we are done, and that is going to create your view for you. And as you can see, we do not have any contacts here, so that is for that. And when you go back in here, you can also see where you can create. When you go back to your setup, you can also see where it is saying that should we allow contact score to go below 0. So when you click on this mark and you allow this, you are saying that you want contact to be able to have a minus digits. So that means it is possible for a contact to have minus digits. Remember that when we unsubscribe, it is a minus score, and also when they give in a negative reply, it is a minus score. So we can also decide. So for instance, if a contact has 20 points and they unsubscribe, that's going to take off 15 points, and it's going to be left with 5. And if they're also giving a negative reply, which is 20 points, and they already have 5 points, that means they're going to have a negative of 15. So we are deciding that yes, we want to allow contact to have negative points. So you can also decide to reset to the original value. So all of what you've done will be deleted, and you can also decide to check in your reset history. So that is all for the contact scoring. And the next one, we have the contact tag. So for contact tag, we can be able to create different tags which we can assign to different contacts. So if you decide to import a contact in, you can be able to assign tags to that contact, so you can be able to identify them. And also remember that when we were starting this tutorial, we said that we can be able to filter contacts based on their tags. So you can create a tag, and when you click on create, you can also decide to add in your tag name. So let's just add this as website So this is website leads, and you can decide to add in a description, and you can add in something like this is the leads coming from websites or whatever works for you. And you can also decide to add in a color for this tag, and you can pick from the various colors that they have in here. And when you pick in a color and you click on create, your tag is going to be created in that color. You can also decide to assign a tag to existing contacts if you want. So you can go to check, you can pick in on this contact, and you can decide to add this contact to that particular tag. And when you click on assign, the tag is going to be assigned to those contacts. You can also go back. You can also go back and click on more, and you can decide to edit this tag, or you can also decide to delete this tag. And this is the tag, this is the two contacts I just added these tags to. And as you can see, when you click on this particular tag, you can see all of those contacts who have that particular tag. So now that we are done with tags, let us move into importing contacts into Zoho Campaigns. And when we go back into contacts and we click on all contacts, if you remember, we said there are three methods which we can use to bring contacts into Zoho Campaigns. We can add new by adding multiple contacts, and we can also import contacts into Zoho Campaigns. And the last one is to sync the contacts. And I have a dummy list here where I have 30 contacts in here, and we have the different fields. We have the birthdays, we have the work email, and we have the number of employee, and all of this domain data. So now we want to see how we can import this list into our Zoho Campaigns account. So when we go into file and you click on download, you want to make sure that you are downloading this file in the CSV format so that you can be able to import it into Zoho Campaigns. And also another thing to note is that before you import your contact, you want to make sure that all of the data, or you have in all of the field that you have in your list is currently in your Zoho Campaigns account. So that means if you're having a field called numbers of employees, or if you're having a field called industry, or preferred newsletter frequency, you want to make sure that all of those fields have been created in Zoho Campaigns. So I do not have those fields in my Zoho Campaigns, and that is going to lead us into creating custom fields in Zoho Campaigns. So we are going to go back to Zoho Campaigns, and we're going to go into our settings. And when you get to your settings, you go into customization, and you are going to see custom fields under customization. When you click on custom fields, it is going to take you to this page, and you can then create custom fields. You can also map to your account custom fields in your Zoho CRM account, and when you click on this, it is going to map all of those fields. But since we are creating custom fields, we are just going to click on create custom fields. And when you click on create custom field, it is going to ask you for the type of field you want to create. So we have various types of fields you can create in here. We have the text field, and for the text field, it is the simplest form of field, and it is for short pieces of information. And you can create fields which are like first name, or you can create fields like last name, or you can even create something like job title, and they can be able to type in their job title in there. Then we have for integer, and for integer is also known as the number field. We can also be able to add in maybe the number of employees. So it is a number field where you can be able to ask them number questions. And we have the email, where they can be able to put in their email, maybe the work email, or maybe the manager's email, or maybe the CEO's email. You can also add that in. And we have the phone, and for the phone, you can be able to create custom fields where you can ask for the phone number, maybe the home phone number, or maybe their mobile phone number, or their work phone number, whichever one works for you. And we have the dates, and for the dates, you can be able to ask for their birthday date, or you can even be able to ask the dates that they will be available. And we have for the date and time, and for the dates and time, we can be able to ask them for a meeting date and time. We can ask them to meet up with us, and we can ask them what date and what time will they be available, so they can put in the date and the time at the same time. And for pick list, people can be able to select a particular choice for a particular field. So you can ask them the type of CRM that they are using. You can also ask them for any other thing where you can allow them to be able to pick a choice. And for the multi-select pick list, this allows people to pick more than one choice. So instead of pick list, which allows one choice, multi-select pick list has it can be able to pick more than one. So you can also ask them the type of services they want from us, if it's automation they want from us, or if it's to set up their Zoho CRM account, or whatever it is they want to do. They can be able to pick more than one services. So for percent, you can also ask them for the percentage of anything. So percentage, you can also allow them to be able to enter a percentage value. So you can ask for any percentage. Maybe you want to ask for the percentage of their commission or anything like that. You can also ask for decimal, and this is going to allow them to be able to put decimal values into um into the form. And you can also be able to ask them for the radio button. And for the radio button, it is going to allow them to be able to also choose a choice, but the choice is going to be listed and it's going to be predefined already, and they can be able to pick whatever options work for them. And you can also use for checkbox, and for checkbox, they are going to be able to select an option. And we have a long integer. We can also allow them to be able to add numerical values. For long integers, we can also be able to add in numbers, and for URL, we can be able to enter a web address. And for text area is different from the first one, which is text. And text area allow them to be able to add in long words, paragraph text. So we can use it as a description field where we can ask them particular questions and they can be able to write the answer to that question in detail. So we also have the multi-select checkbox, and for multi-select checkbox, it is going to display different options for a particular question, and people can be able to pick multiple answers for that question. And we have for anniversary, so anniversary can also be used for birthday dates, or we can even ask them for their company anniversary, and the date format is going to be the day, the month. So we can ask them for all of those. And now let's go back to our sheet and let's see what field we have. So we have the first name and the last name and the email. Those are already in Zoho Campaign already. And we have mobile number, which is already in Zoho Campaign. And we have for birthday. So let's create a birthday field. And when we come over here and we select our birthday and we go over to Zoho Campaigns and we click on anniversary and we add in the date display label as birthday. So this is going to be our birthday field. So you can also decide to add in the date format. It can be month and day, or it can be day and month. So let's choose day and month. And we can also decide to separate by all of this character, and we can decide to separate by this dash in here. And that means they are showing us how the value is going to look like. So it will be the 31st of January. So that will be 31-01. And we can also decide to add in a default value, and we can decide to encrypt this field also. So when you are done, you click on add, and when you click on add, your custom field will be added. And now we have birthday, which is an anniversary field, and that has been added. The next field we have in our dummy list is the number of employees. So when we copy the number of employee here, as you can see, it is a number field. We have to go back into Zoho Campaigns, and we'll have to add a new contacts field, and we are going to name this we are going to put this under the integer value. So the integer is the second one, and we had this in here, and we add in the field label, which is the number of employees, and we can also decide to add the field length if we want, and we can also add the default value, and we can also click on add when we are done with all of this. And yeah, the length field cannot be left blank, so I'm just going to add 10. So let's just click on add, and when you click on add, oh, it's saying my field cannot be greater than 9, so I'll just put in 9, and that is the field length for this particular field. So when you're done, you click on add, and when you click on add, your custom field for number of employees has been added. Then the next one on our dummy list, we have the preferred newsletter frequency. And for the preferred newsletter frequency, they can only pick one option, remember? And we have the bi-weekly, we have the monthly, we have the weekly, and we also have the monthly. So I'm going to pick this name here, and I'm going to go back into Zoho Campaigns, and I'm going to add in a new contact field. And since I want to list all of this in an option, I am going to use my radio button. So when I click on radio button, and I can put in the name for the field, which is my preferred newsletter frequency. And we can also decide to add in item for each options. Okay, so now we can ask them for their preferred newsletter frequency, and I've added in all of this option in here. We have bi-weekly, we have weekly, and we have monthly, and this is going to add them as an option, and they can be able to pick any option that works for them. And we can also add in a default value. For default value, we can say that we want to add in a static value, so that even if they do not pick that value, this is what is going to show up in our in the contact details. So for instance, if we send this out as a form and we put this particular field in that form, and the user or the person filling in that form did not fill this option, we can just automatically use weekly, and we just bring in weekly and put weekly in here, and we can be able to identify that, yeah, they want to use weekly. But if they pick any option, this is going to change, and it can change to whatever option that they pick. So when you are done, you click on add, and when you click on add, your custom field has been added for this. And the next one on our dummy list will be the topic of interest. And for the topic of interest, we have several topics that they can be able to pick from. We can decide I want to ask them what services they want from us. Do they want email marketing? Do they want CRM tips, or is it social media or automation or event updates? So these, since they can be able to pick multiple answers in here, we are not going to be using the radio button like we did here. We are going to be using the multi-select checkbox. So when you copy this name and you go over to Zoho Campaigns, you click on add new and you click on contact field, and we can be able to pick the, you can pick the multi-select pick list, or we can pick the multi-select checkbox. So the pick list is going to be like a drop down, where is until they click on the drop down, that is when they are going to see all of the list of the choices. Whereas if we are using the checkbox, it's going to list out all of the options, and they can be able to pick the options from there. So when we pick on the multi-select checkbox and we click on the field name, which is the topic of interest, we can then go ahead into our dummy list and see all of the options that we have, and we need to bring all of these options into Zoho Campaigns. Okay, so here our topic of interest, and we can see that we have 5 options in here, and it has been brought in. We have the email marketing, we have the CRM tips, and we have the social media automation and event updates. We can also decide to add in a default value if we want. We have added in all of this information, we can click on add, and as you can see, that custom field has been added. And the next one on our dummy list is website, and we can decide to also ask them for their website URL, and we can go back into Zoho Campaigns and click on add new custom fields, and we are going to look for the URL field, which is the URL here. And when you click on this URL field in here, you can then put in the name of your field, which is website. Then you can decide to add in URL. So we're asking them for their website URL, and we can decide to add in a field length, and when we are done, we can click on add. And when you click on add, this is going to be added. So I need a field length for my URL. So I added 50. As now that we have the URL field, the next one is going to be our customer feedback. And for customer feedback, as you can see, we can use a multi-line uh, field, since we're asking for the customer feedback and we want them to be able to write as much as they want. We cannot use the text field because they can only write short text in the text field. When you pick on the customer feedback in here and you go back to Zoho Campaigns and you click on add and you click on the contact field, you are not going to use text because the field length for text is going to be shorter. We want something where they can be able to write in long paragraphs. So we are going to pick on the text area. We are going to use that, and we can then decide to copy this in here for customer feedback. And when we are done, we click on add, and this field will be added. And that has been added, and I think that's all. Yeah, that is all for our list. And now that we have added in all of the custom fields in our list, we can then move on to import this contact. So do not forget, we have various type of custom fields which we can create, right from the text to the email to the checkbox to the anniversary, the URL, and all of this. So you just need to know the one you are creating, and you just need to add in the label, which is going to be the feed name and the feed length forever it's required. And you can also add in the default value, and you can also encrypt the field. And when you're done, you click on add. So now that we are done with the custom field, let's go into importing contacts into Zoho Campaigns. So we are going to go back to our dummy list. We're going to download this particular list, and we are going to download it in the CSV format. So as you can see, I've clicked on download here, and I'm just going to click on CSV format, and my list is going to be downloaded into my computer, and that has been downloaded. Then I go back to my Zoho Campaigns account, and I'm going to go back to my all contacts. And when I click on all contacts, as you can remember, we have three methods of bringing contacts in. So I'm just going to click on add new, and instead of using the sync or the multiple contact, I'm going to click on import. And when I click on import, it is going to take me to this page where I can select the file I want to import into my Zoho Campaigns account. So I'm going to click on select file, and that is going to ask me to bring the file in. If I have the file inside my Google Drive, I can also bring that in. If I have it in my Zoho Drive or even any of this, I can bring that file into Zoho Campaigns from any of this. And since I have the file from my computer, I'm just going to click in here, and it's going to take me into my computer, and I can go to my download. This is the file I just created, and I'm going to click on open. And when I click on open, this file is going to show up in here, and I can then click on upload file. And when I click on upload file, my file is going to be uploaded into Zoho Campaigns. And as you can see, it is asking me for my preference. So for the preference, I can decide to add this as unsubscribed contacts, or I can add them as non-marketing contacts, or I can add them as marketing contacts. And remember that the difference between marketing and non-marketing contacts is the subscription to receive email. Marketing contacts are contacts that have subscribed to receive our email campaigns, while non-marketing contacts are those who do not want to receive our marketing emails. So we click on marketing contacts, and we can also decide to update this subscription type for existing contact that we have. We can also decide to assign the various type of topics that we have in here. We can decide to add in brand topics. We can decide to add in brand updates, and we can also decide to add in marketing. So just add in whatever topics you want to add for this particular contact. And you can also say that this contact have given the consent to receive email for our product. So when you click on this checkbox and you click on save, that part has been done. You can also select the list you want to bring this contact into. So we have different lists, and the one I just created, you can just click here, and it's going to upload all of the lists you have into Zoho Campaigns, and you can see all of them in here. Or you can even decide to create a new mailing list for this particular contact you are bringing in. So let's create a list, and we can decide to click on create list, and it's going to ask us for the name of the list. So let's name this dummy contact. And when you're done with the name, you click on save. And when you click on save, that list has been added in there. So as you can see, the dummy contact list has been added. So when you're done, you click on save again, and this list selection has been saved. The next one is to map our fields, and we need to map in all of the information coming from our file into the information that we'll be getting in Zoho Campaigns. So we have created all of those custom fields. Now we need to map in all of those custom fields into the Zoho campaign fields. And you have to make sure that you do this properly, because if you mismatch any of this field, it is going to be bringing in the wrong data. So please do not bring in last name for first name or first name for last name. You have to make sure that what you are doing is correct. So we have the first name, which is already mapped, and the last name is mapped. The contact email is also mapped, but the mobile number is not mapped. So I'm just going to look for my phone number in here, and as you can see, we can use phone, we can use mobile. So I'm just going to use mobile, and that has been mapped. And for birthday, do we have birthday? Yeah, for birthday, we can decide to map for birthday also in Zoho Campaigns. We can also decide to select the date format. We can use this, or we can use this, whichever one works for you. So let's use date and month, and we can decide to use this dash as the separator. And for the number of employee, it has been mapped. Then for industry, yeah, I forgot to create industry. So for industry, I forgot to create industry actually, but we can decide to create industry and we can just add in a new field. And when you click on add in a new field, it is going to ask you with the type of field you want to add. And if you go back to Zoho campaign, I mean the list, if you go back to the list, you will see that we have industry in here and we have the various type of industry. So I'm just going to select this. And as you can see, we only have one option for industry, so that means we either we use the radio button or we use the pick list. So let's go back into Zoho campaigns and let's use the radio button, or let's use the pick list because we do not want it to show. So I'm just going to bring this in, and yeah, I need to add in the items for the industry. So I'm just going to go back into my list and I'm going to copy each industry in here and just put them in Zoho campaigns. So let me use, and I've also added in all of my options for industry. So I can click on add when I'm done. And since I've put in all of these options, that will be added. And now as you can see, my contact industry has been created. I can now decide to map it with my contact industry. Then I can go to the next one. The topic of interest has been mapped. Then we have the website. And for my website, remember that I created a custom field for websites and I named it website URL. So I just need to bring this in and that has been mapped. And my customer feedback has been mapped also. So after making sure that all of these custom fields and all of these fields coming from the file is mapped to this Zoho campaign field, then we can click on save. And when we click on save, it is going to move into the next stage where we can be able to select the tags we want to assign to these contacts. So let's select a tag and we can decide to choose from the various tags that we have in here, or we can even decide to create a new tag. And when you click on create a new tag, it's going to take you to this page where you can add in the name of your tag. So let's add in dummy contact. And we can also decide to add in a color for this tag, and let's use the color red. Yeah, so when you're done, you click on save and this tag is been saved, and you can then assign this tag to each of these contacts we are bringing in. So after making sure that all of this is done, you want to make sure that you are doing every of this thing correct. You also want to view the map field that you have mapped, and you want to make sure that everything is mapped correctly. After making sure that all of these settings you have done is correct, you can then click on import. And when you click on import, as you can see, it is reading our files and it is importing everything we need to bring in into Zoho campaigns. And you can see that we have 30 counts of contacts that we have in this file in here. It has been able to import the 30 fields, and we have 30 new contacts. And as you can see, none of these contacts were re-added and we do not have any duplicate contacts, and none of it was ignored. And so as you can see, our result is 100%. There's no file duplication and there is no unsupported email, and that means our contacts have been imported. So when we go back into our all contacts and we go into all contacts in here, we'll be able to see all of those contacts we have brought in. So we can also decide to filter based on our tags. And since we have dummy tags assigned to dummy contacts assigned to these contacts we just brought in, we can just click on this. And when you click on this and you click on apply, that means it's going to filter those contacts that have the tag dummy contact. And as you can see, these are the file we brought in, these are the contacts we just brought in, and all of them is in here already. So that is how to import contacts into Zoho Campaigns account. So the next thing now we want to do is we want to create an email campaign. So when you go into campaigns and you click on email campaign, you can also create SMS campaigns, but let's create email campaigns first. Okay, so now that we are in our create email campaign, we are going to see the page where we can be able to create new campaigns, and you can see all of your existing campaigns that you have created already. And when you click on create campaign, it is going to take you to this page where it is going to ask you for the type of campaigns you want to create. So we have various type of campaigns you can create. We have the one for the regular email where you can just send out emails to your contacts, and we have the A and B testing where you can create two versions of campaigns and send it to different people at the same time. We have the RSS, which is the one you use for your blog, which you can be able to tell them what is new on your website. You can also use the one for Zoho meeting where you can invite people to webinar and send emails to them. You can use the one for go to webinar. You can use one for Eventbrite where you allow people to be able to, you can send message inviting people to your Eventbrite event. And you can use Survey Monkey. You can also use the one for Zoho Forms. So for this purpose of this tutorial, we are only going to be seeing two of them, which is your regular email and your A and B testing. So when you click on the regular email, you can click on create new. And when you click on create new, it is going to ask you for the campaign name. And we can name this, let's name this welcome email. And you want to select a topic for this email also. So is this topic a marketing email, or is it a brand update email? So you can pick whichever one works for you and you can select that. And when you are done, you click on save and proceed. And when you click on save and proceed, it is going to take you to this page where you can add in all of this. So you can add in the subject of your email, and you can add in something like welcome to CRM instructor. You can also add in a pre-header, and remember that a pre-header is the one that is going to be below your subject line when you send out an email. So the subject line comes first, then the pre-header comes second. Then you click on save, and when you click on save, your pre-header has been saved. You can also decide to add in a sender detail. So the sender details mean who is going to be sending out this email to this particular people. We can say we want to use the same sender for all, or we can decide I want to change the sender based on a custom field. And we can also use the CRM owner address. So that means if we want to send out through the CRM owner address, we are saying that we can decide to use a particular email of the contact owner to send out this email. So if user A is the owner of some contact, user A email will be the one sending out this email. Or if user B is the owner of some contact, user B's email will be the one sending out this email. So we can decide to use that if we want. We can also decide to send on based on custom fields, and we can decide to add in a match tag, and you can also use the same sender for all. So this is the popular one that people use, so let's just use it. So we can also decide to add in a sender name, and we can say the sender name is Emma Glory. And we can also choose the sender address. I have added in all of this address in here, and I can decide to use each of them. So I will advise that you use your domain email to send out these emails, because if you are using a Gmail account or if you are using an Outlook account, there is high probability of your emails getting to spam. So you want to use your domain email, and you want to make sure that you've authenticated your domain email in Zoho Campaigns, which I'll be touching in a minute. So let's just pick this info at cnminstructor101.com. And you can also decide to turn on your reply tracking. Your reply tracking is going to help you track all of those people that are replying to your emails, and you can be able to send out those replies to another email address. So you can decide to click on track replies, and when you click on track replies, it can ask you to auto forward your replies. You can say that you want to auto forward these replies to another email address. So you can say that if this is the email that is sending this out, we want to forward our email, we want to forward all of those replies to another email. So this will help, so that this will be your sender email and this will be the reply to email. So when you're done, you click on save, and that has been saved. So we can also decide to add in a recipient. So you can decide that you only want to select few of your contact list. You can decide to use your segment, and you can decide to use your list, whichever one works for you. And since we just created a new list, let's see how we can use list. So you can pick on the list. We have different type of list in here which you can pick from. And remember that we have the dummy contact which we just created. We can just add that in and bring that in. So that means we are only sending to 30 recipients, because we only have 30 people in this dummy contact. So you can also decide to exclude some contacts. When you click on exclude contact in here, you can decide that you only want to select to selected people in this contact. So you can decide that you want to exclude those people who have received a particular campaigns before, or you want to exclude people from a mailing list. So you can decide that you do not want to send to anybody on this particular list. So that means if there is any particular contact that is on this list, that is on the website contact list and on the dummy account list, they are not going to receive this email. So we do not want to send to people from this website contact list. So we click on save, and when you click on save, that has been saved. So after doing that, you can also decide when you're done with all of this, then you can click on save. And when you click on save, that has been saved for your recipients. You can also decide to edit your recipient. So now we want to create the content for this campaign. So when you click on create content, it is going to take you to the place where you can be able to see the various content you can add. You can use the save templates that we have. If you have any save templates in your account, if there's any templates you have created and you saved, you can use that. Or you can say that you want to use the predefined templates. You can also say that you want to use the pre-designed template that has been done by Zoho Campaign itself. They have different templates which you can pick from, and you can use the basic templates where it's just going to have the layout done for you. And you can use the HTML editor where you can be able to code your email campaign, and you can be able to add in that HTML code in there. You can also use the plain text editor, or you can import or upload your HTML, or you can use a template from a campaign that has been recently sent. And just for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to be using the pre-designed templates. And when you click on the pre-designed templates, you are going to see the various templates that they have in here. So as you can see, they have a lot of templates. So you can be able to pick from all of these templates and pick whichever one works for you. So for the purpose of the this tutorial, we are sending a welcome email. So I'm just going to pick this one, and I'm going to click on select templates. So when I click on select templates, it is going to take me to this page where I can edit my templates. So we have this email template in here, and we can decide to customize each section to whatever we want. So we have the first one, which is the text. You can be able to drag in a text and be able to write a text. So a text is like this one. And we have the image where you can be able to drag and drop images in here. You can also drag in just a one image, or you can say you want to place image side by side, or maybe a 3 column image, whichever one works for you. And the second one is the image and text, where you can be able to drag and drop different layouts of images and text. For the next one, we have buttons. You can be able to add in the square button, or you can also use the rounded button, and you can use the oval button, whichever works for you. We also have the columns, where you can be able to add different columns, maybe 3 columns or 2 columns, and you can check which one works for you. You can also be able to add in your social, and for social, you can use this. This is the social, and you can drag that and just drop that inside wherever you want. And for your filter, you can decide to use a new filter or the default filter here. So we are just going to leave this the way it is. So you can drag in this filter and drop it wherever you want. And as you can see, your filter has been added in here. So let's delete this. Just going to click on delete. So the next one, we have the spacer, where you can be able to drag this spacer and just drag it inside wherever you want, and you can drag this to make the spacer bigger or to make the spacer smaller. So when you are done, you click on done. You can also add in a divider, and for divider, it is just going to draw a line between two elements, and you can be able to drag in various kind of divider. If it is a dotted divider, or if it's a solid line divider, whichever one works for you, you can just drag that in. You can also change in the color of your divider, and you can change in the color of your border for your divider also. So when you're done, you click on done and you go back. And after divider, we have for video. We can also decide to add in a video to our email template. So we can decide to drag in a video, and when you drag in this video over here, let's drag it here, and you can be able to pick the video from YouTube, or you can use Venmo, or you can use this. So you can add in a video name. So let's just add this. So we are adding this as Zoho Form tutorial, and we are adding it from YouTube, and we want to add in a URL. So let me grab a YouTube link. So I have grabbed a link from my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to put that link in here. So if you have any video from YouTube or from Venmo, you can use that link in here. You just need to paste the link inside this entire URL column, and we click on next. And when we click on next, our YouTube video is going to be added. So when you click on save, as you can see, this video has been added into our campaigns. We can also decide to align this to the left or to the right, whichever works for us. We can say we want to use this as a banner, or want it to be fit, or want it to be small, or we want it to be medium or original size. Just change it however works for you. So let's make it fit, and we can also change the background color for this video, and we can use black if we want, and we can also add in a border style. So we can say this is the border we want to use, and we can add in the color of our border. We can use another color for the border, and we can increase the size, the pixel of the border. So when you are done, you click on done, and that has been added. So that is for video. And for dynamic content, so for instance, we can decide to add in an image, and we can drag this image in here, and we can say that we only want people who are from Nigeria to see that image. And this is actually very helpful if you are sending to contacts from different country. You can be able to add in elements whereby you can decide who you want to see that element. So if you say that we only want people from a particular country to see that image, we can also do that. So for instance, if we add in country, and we say want to say if the country is Nigeria, then that means we want them to be able to see that image. So let's add in Nigeria. So remember that you can do this for all of these details in here. You can do this if they have their company name. You can do this if they have the phone. You can do this if the job title is manager, or if the job title is CEO. Whatever you want, you can do that. So we are saying that is the country is Nigeria. Then we click on apply. Then we can be able to upload the particular image we want to use. So we can say that only people from Nigeria should be able to see this image. So when you add that in, as you can see, it is saying if country is Nigeria, then this image is going to appear in their email. So you can change the background color and do all of these settings, and you can click on done. So the same thing applies for all of this. You can add in this image and text column, and you can also add this. So that is for dynamic content. So for to create a dynamic content, you have to make sure that you know what you want to send to them. Do you want to send text, or do you want to send do you want to send text, or do you want to send image and text, or do you want them to be able to click on a particular button based on different criteria? So when you know the elements you want to send, you can then decide the particular criteria you want to use. You can use if they're from a particular country, or you can use if their email is not empty, or whichever criteria. So when you are done, you can go back and let's create a poll. Then we can create a poll where we can ask them different questions through the poll. So we can write a particular question, and we can ask them maybe to rate their the last campaign, or maybe to rate their experience they had with us. So this one is we are asking them to be able to rate our last campaign, and we can add in all of these um answers, and we can say that we want to be able to choose each reaction. So we want to choose happy, want to choose wink, want to choose anxious, I want to choose upset. Just pick whichever options you want to use, and you can then click on next. And when you click on next, this poll, oh, I cannot select more than 5. Okay, happy, choose upset. So you click on next after picking all of the reactions, and as you can see, we have all of this reaction in here, and you can decide to increase the emoji size, or you can decide to reduce the emoji size. You can also decide to place it at the center, at the left, or at the right, whichever one works for you. And this is how it's going to look like in your email. So you can decide to increase the emoji if you want. And when you're done, you click on next. It is also going to show you what is going to show up when they put in their answer for the poll. So it's going to write, maybe if they completed it, they can say thank you for your honesty or thank you for your response. And if this poll has expired, this is what is going to be showing up. So you can say that you want to edit each of these responses and add in whatever you want. Okay, so you can also decide to choose the date which this poll is going to be expired, and you can add in this poll is going to be expired in let's say next year, and yeah, let's just say a year from now, and let's just pick a particular date. So that means any contact that is coming to this email after a year, they won't be able to fill in that poll again because the poll will be expired. And this is the text that will be showing up when this poll is expired. So when you are done, you click on finish. And when you click on finish, that poll has been added. You can also decide to add in light spacing, and you can decide to change this background color to whatever you want. Let's use something light. Yeah. So you can also decide to add in a border. You can also decide to add in all of this spacing. So when you're done, you click on done, and as you can see, that poll has been added. So you can do this for this poll, or you can use 1, 2, 3, or you can decide to use the other one. So that is for poll. We can also decide to add in an attachment, and we can add in this attachment if you want to add in, maybe you want to add in the PDFs, or want to add in an invoice, or want to add in a contract. We can do that through here. So you can add in this as an image, and that attachment is going to be attached to this image. So you can also add in this attachment as a button, and when you put in the button, you can be able to see all of your attachments. So you can drag in this button in here, and you can put that in, and you can see all of your attachments that you have in your Zoho Campaigns account. You can also decide to upload another attachment from your computer. So if you have any PDF, or if you have their invoices, or if you have the contract that you want to attach to these emails, you can do that. So you can just pick which attachment you want to use and click on proceed, and that attachment is going to be attached to this particular link. So instead of download attachment, you can say something like download our PDF, or you can say something like download your contract, or you can say something like download your invoice. So whichever one works for you. And when you are done, you click on done. So you can do this for image, and you can do this for all of this button. And when you are done, you can go back, and you can also drag and drop in a table. So you can pick which table is going to work for you. So let's say we want to use a 3 by 3 table, and we can drag in this table in here, and we can put in text in each of these boxes in here. You create a table where you can say you want to show them the statistics of the you want to show them the statistics of your services, those people who have bought your services, and you can just list the services and list the months. This can be your services, this can be your month. Just switch up this table to whatever you want, and you can write that out. So when you are done putting in all the information in your table, you can click on done. And when you click on done, you can also go back, and we can add in a box test. So to add in a box test, you are just going to drag this, and you're going to drop this in here. And as you can see, your text is in a box. That's just the meaning of the box text. So you can also decide to change the background color. You can also decide to do all of these settings. And when you are done, you can click on done. And you can also go back, to create an ICS. So you can also add in an ICS where you can be able to create an event. You just need to put the event name and description of the event and the event URL. And this is going to show up for everyone you are sending this campaign to. So when you add in all of these details, then you can click on save, and that will be saved into your campaign. Then we have the next one. The next one, which is insert HTML. You can also decide to insert a particular HTML. So if there's a design you want to add in, but it is an HTML, or if there is an element you want to add in, but it's an HTML code, you can just put in the code in here, and you click on apply, and that HTML will be added. So when you are done, you click on apply, and that will be added to your campaign. So that is all for all of the elements. You can also decide to click on layout, and you can see the different layouts that we have in Zoho Campaigns. So you can select whichever layout you want to use, and you can customize that layout. So after picking the elements, just put in the text and put in the image, and you can add that. You can also see the design of your total campaign, and as you can see, this is the inner color in here, and you can decide to change this inner color to whatever you want. You can say you want to change the inner color to yellow, and you have to do this for each section. And you can decide to change the inner color to what works for you. So you can also decide to change the outer theme if you want, and you can also decide to change the outer color to maybe red. That's ugly. So you can decide to change it to black or brown, or you can also decide to increase the template width. So that means the inner container will be stretched if we increase this, and it will be reduced if we reduce this. If we reduce this to 600, as you can see, it reduced my container to this. If you increase this back to 800, as you can see, it changed it back to 800. You can also use the out. You can choose an outer border, so you can add this as 3 pixels, and you can change the color of your outer border to maybe red, or you can change it to whatever you want to use. I'm sorry, this um campaign is a multicolor campaign. It's just for tutorial sake. So you can also decide to select this RTL layout, where it is going to be used for languages that are from right to left. Most of the languages you have are from left to right, but this one is going to help for languages that are from right to left, like Arabic and Hebrew. So if you are sending a campaign in any of this language, you can set this up. So when you are done, you can also check in your campaign to see if there's anything you need to change, or if there's anything you need to remove. And as you can see, you can also add this star in here, where you can add in a bookmark. So you can decide to add in all of this bookmark in here. But since I have not done all of this, I cannot bookmark this. So when you finish adding all of the elements, you can add this as a bookmark, and you can also decide to click on this, and you can decide to save to library. So when you save to library, you can be able to add this as a template, and this is also how to create a template actually. So you just add in your template, and you can say something like welcome email template. So you name your template, and you click on save, and your template has been added to your template library. So you can also decide to preview and test this campaign. So when you click on preview and text, you will be able to see the place where you can test this campaign. So this is actually very, very good. It is, you have to make sure you test your campaign before you send it out to people, so you can see how it looks like in your inbox. So to add in a test campaign, you can see how it's going to look on desktop. You can also see how it's going to look on your phone. So most people check campaigns through phone, so you want to make sure that both of the phone and both the campaign on the desktop is very good to go. So you can also send in a test campaign, and you can click on any of the emails you've added already for your test campaign, or you can say you even want to add in a new address to send this test campaign to. So after adding the new address, you just click on add, and that will be added over here. So let's just pick this, my email here, and I can decide to send in the HTML format, or I can send the text, or the HTML and plain text. So I'm just going to use the HTML, so it can send exactly the way it is. And I'm going to click on send test campaign, and that is going to send this campaign as a test to my email. So this will allow me to be able to see how the campaign is going to look like before I send it out to people, before I send it out to my subscribers. So after doing that, you can then click on cancel, and then you can click on proceed after making sure that your design is okay and you've added in everything you need to add. So when you click on proceed, it is going to save your content, and we are going to go back to this page where we can see all of these things that we've added. You can also select the show advanced option, where you can see all of these advanced options which you can do. You can decide to track in your email open, and you can decide to track in your link clicks. So if they're clicking anything on your email, we want to be able to track with that. We can also track the Google Analytics with Google Analytics, but you need to connect your Google Analytics first. And remember that we are enabling the reply tracking, and we can also decide to create this campaign in Zoho CRM, and we can update this campaign member status in Zoho CRM also. So that means if they open this email, if this contact is in Zoho CRM, it is going to show in Zoho CRM that this contact has opened the email. If they also click on anything, it is going to also show in Zoho CRM. So you can add in the default scoring, the scoring that we already did. You can add that default scoring into this. You can enable this. You can also enable the specific contact scoring. So that means you will have to create a particular scoring for this specific campaign. You can also decide to use the custom rules, and you can decide to select a follow-up action for any action that is triggered in this campaign. So let's try to configure that, and let's say if they open or if they click on a specific link, we want to be able to send them another campaign. So let's pick the particular link. So let's say if they click on this link in this campaign, we want to do any of this. So we can decide that we want to add them to a list, or want to assign a tag, or want to remove a tag, or want to add them to another workflow. So we can say if they click on our website link, or we can pick any of the link you've added into your campaign. You can say that you want to add them to a particular workflow. So if they pick on your website link, for instance, you can say you can want to add in a tag, and when you click on adding a tag, it is going to ask you for this particular tag you want to add. So you can pick on the tag, and also you can do another one. You can do another link also, and you can say if they pick on another link, you can say you can want to add to a list, and you can then add them to the particular list that you have. And when you are done with all of these settings, you click on save, and that has been saved. And you can also decide to add this as an event um in your Office 365 calendar. So you just click on configure, and you will be able to add that into your calendar. So I do not have a Microsoft account, so I cannot do that. So I'm just going to come back here. And when you are done with all of these, you can then decide to send out immediately if you want, or you can decide to send this campaign later. So when you click on send later, oh, for send immediately, you can also decide to send in batches. So that means you want to send, we have 30 contacts, and you want to send in the batches of 5. You can click on 5. So that means it's going to send the first 5, and we want to determine the interval we want to send this at. So we are saying that if we click on send now and want to use an interval of 15 minutes, we are saying that the first 5 people are going to receive this email, and after 15 minutes, another set of 5 is going to receive this email. And after another 15 minutes, another set of 5 is going to receive this email. So that's the meaning of sending in batches. And you can also decide that you want to send later. And when you click on send later, you can decide to send at a particular fixed time zone. So that means if you want to send this email at 29th of September, or you can even choose a future date if you want. So we can say we want to send this tomorrow, and we want to use a particular time, and you can even change the particular time zone. So if the contact you are sending to are using PST time, or they are using EST time, you can select the time zone from here, and you can be able to send in their own time zone. You can also decide to send in batches for send later, and you can also decide to use the recipient time zone. So if they have the time zone already in the contact details, we can be able to send out this campaign in the recipient time zone. But if we do not have the recipient time zone, it is going to default to our own time zone. So you have to be very careful if you are choosing this. You have to make sure that you have the recipient time zone if you are using this. So for optimal time, Zoho campaigns will be the one to determine the time that this campaign is going to go out, and it will be sent within 24 hours of the time that you launch it, that you launch this campaign. So Zoho campaigns will be the one to determine the best time to send out this email to your subscribers. So that is all for that. So you can use a fixed time zone, or you can decide to send at an optimal time. And when you click on schedule, it's going to ask you to make sure that this is what you are choosing, and you click on go ahead. And when you click on go ahead, it is going to go ahead and schedule your email campaign. And as you can see, it is saying congratulations, you have scheduled your email campaign. You can decide to go to your dashboard, or you can decide to view the details. And as you can see, it is saying my campaign has been scheduled for 30th of September 2025. I can decide to reschedule now, or I can decide to cancel this schedule. And I can also decide to create a folder where I can assign this campaign to a folder. I just need to click on create new folder and write in the name of my folder and click on this checkbox, and this campaign is going to be added to that folder. And the folder is just going to help you to be more organized, and so you can see each emails in each folder. So we can also decide that we want to click on more. We can clone this campaign if we want, and we can delete this campaign. We can mark this campaign as dormant if we also want that. So when you're done and you go back, you will see that your campaign has been created, and it's already scheduled for, it is scheduled for 30th of September 2025. So that is how to create a campaign in Zoho Campaign. So let's go right into our library, and we can also be able to check in our library, and we can see the images. We can also see the workflow. We can see the email templates that we create. We can even decide to create a workflow template, and we can decide to add in a form template. So if you go to your images in here, you can decide to upload images from your computer, or you can also decide to upload images from your web URL. So when you go back into library and you click on your email template here, you are going to see all the email templates that you have added into your account, and you can even decide to create a new email template. So to create a new email template, you just click on create using basic templates. You can use basic templates where they're just going to allow you to add in the layout, and you can be able to edit the layout yourself. Or you can say that you want to create using a pre-designed template from Zoho Campaigns. And as you can see, it is going to take you to the pre-designed templates from Zoho Campaigns, and you can use any of these, and you can just design it the way we design our email campaigns. And you can also create using HTML editor. So if you want to use your HTML editor, that means you must have your code, and you must write the name of your campaign, and you can then add that code into the HTML code into that editor. So that is how to create an email template. Then the next one, we have the workflow template, and for the workflow template, you can create a workflow, and you can decide to add that workflow as a template, so that you can be able to reuse that workflow another time you want to create a workflow. So for the attachments also, we can decide to add in attachments. The attachments where we added into our email, we can decide to add various documents and add them into our Zoho Campaigns account from our computer, and we can then decide to use those email attachments into our Zoho Campaigns. So we can also decide to upload all of this. You can select whatever file you want to use for your attachments. Just select them in your from your computer, and you click on open, and that has been opened. Then you click on upload, and as you can see, this attachment has been added. So the same thing goes for your documents. You can decide to add in PDFs. You can decide to add in whatever documents you want to attach to your emails. So that is for attachments. And we want to move on to the next most powerful um, feature we have in email marketing and also Zoho Campaigns. We want to see how we can create an A or B test, which is A or B testing. So A or B testing can sometimes be referred to as split testing, and it allows you to compare two different versions of the same campaign to see which one performs better. Instead of you guessing about what your audience wants to see or what your audience like, you can allow the data to do that for you. And what you just need to do is to go into the Zoho campaign and set up an A or B test, and you can start with that. So let's go into Zoho campaigns. So to create an A or B test campaign, all you need to do is to go to campaign, and you click on email campaign. And when you click on email campaign, you can see the part where you need to create the campaign. So you click on create campaign, and it's going to take you to the page where you'll be asked what type of campaign you want to create. And since we already know how to create the regular type of the campaign, we are going to be moving into the A or B testing. So when you click on create new under A or B testing, it is going to take you to this page where you can be able to set up your campaigns. So for example, let's say we want to do a promo sale or we want to do a summer sale, we can then decide what parameter we want to use for the A or B test. So we can decide to change the subject for the two different campaigns, or we can decide to change the sender details for the two different campaigns, or we can even say, you know what, we want to change the copy of the email campaign. So you choose whatever works for you and you pick that option, and you can be able to choose different things for that same campaign. So we are going to have two versions of campaign, and we are going to have version A and we are going to have version B. So one thing I love about A or B testing is that it removes the guesswork. You do not need to start doing the guesswork of what is going to work for your contact. All you need to do, instead of relying on assumption, is just to create the campaigns and allow the data determine that for you. The first thing we need to do when we want to create an A or B test is to name our campaign. So this is for our own reference. The subscribers are not to see this, so we are just going to name this welcome email. So I'm just going to name this welcome email to subscribers, and we can then select which parameter we want to use for this campaign. We can say that we want to send out this campaign based on the email context, or based on the sender details, or based on the subject, whichever one works for you. So if you're saying subject, you're saying that you want to create two different subject lines for the same campaign, and one subject line will be going to version A and the other subject line will be going for version B. Then we can also decide to change the sender address, and that means we'll be changing the sender name and the sender email. We can say we want to change the name to our complaint or for version A, or we can say we want to use a particular person's name in version B. Or you can also decide to switch up the entire content and use different email copy for version A and different email copy for version B. So you also want to select the size of your test group. You can say that for version A, you want to send 2.5% of recipients to receive version A, or you can also say that you want 2.5% of recipients to receive version B. You can also increase the test size if you want. Let's increase this to 10. Okay, that's 9. Okay, let's leave it as, okay, that's 12. Yeah, so let's choose 12. So when we pick 12% here, we are saying that we want 6% to go to version A and 6% to go to version B. And we are saying that the winning version will be sent to the remaining 88% of our list. So that means if we send the version A 6% of if we send version A to 6% and we send version B um to 6%, then it's going to remain 88%. So whichever one is winning, whichever one has an high open rate or high click rate, or we can decide whatever one to use, is going to be sent to the remaining 88%. So now, how do we decide the winner? So what that means is that how do we know which email is winning between version A and version B? We can say we want to check through their open rates. So that means whichever one of the two have the higher open rates, we can then decide to use that one and send to the remaining contacts. Or we can even use the click rate, so that whichever one has the higher clicker rate, we can send to the remaining 88% of our contacts. We can also decide to make it manual, so that we can be able to choose ourselves which version to use, whether A or B. But most of the time it is the open rate that is used. So you can say that I want to check the open rate, or you can check for the click rate. So let's use the click rate actually, because if they are clicking on things on our email, that means they are being engaged and they like the particular content we just put out. And since we are using email content, click rate is the best thing to use, because the copy, there's a change in the copy, so we can see what they are clicking on, in which copy, which is giving the higher rate. So we want the test duration to last how long? So that means for this competition between A and B, we want the test duration to last for, you can say hours, or we can say days. So I want this competition to last for 3 days, and I'm saying that after 3 days, whichever one of the two higher click rate, we are going to send that particular email to the remaining 88%. So you can also decide that if the result is inconclusive, do we send version A or do we send version B, or you can even decide later. So I'm going to be sending version A if there is an inconclusive result. Then I am going to click on next. So when you click on next, it is saving this page and it's going to go to the next page. So now we want to put our subject line, and we can also decide to add in a personalized data, like we can add the first name, and all of these can be added to the subject line. So I want to add the first name, so I can say something like first name, then comma, welcome to our company. So you can use this as the subject line. And remember that if you are using the subject line as the test criteria, it's going to give you two spaces where you can fill different subject line. But since I'm using email context, it is not going to show two different subject line. So you can also decide to assign this campaign to a topic, and you can click on whichever topic you want to assign this to, and then send you can decide to send based on a particular email address, or you can decide to send based on a custom field or a CRM owner address. But we'll be sending from a single address, and we can pick any of the emails that you've added. And when you click on any one of it, let me choose this, and then I can be able to put the sender name. And remember that also, if you are using the sender details as the test criteria, it's going to bring out two senders which you can be able to write. You can be able to add in two different senders for this particular campaign. So I'm just going to add in Emma Glory. So this is going to be the sender name and the sender email. We can also decide I want to track our replies, and when you turn that on, you can click on track replies. And when you click on track replies, you can also decide to auto forward your replies to a particular email address. So we can say we want all the replies that is coming from this campaign to go to my Gmail account. So when that is done, you can do that. You can also decide to send in a personalized to address if you want. So when you click on next, it's taking you to this page where you need to pick the content for your test, for your A or B test. So we can decide to use the save templates that we have in our account. If you've saved any template, you can use it, or you can even use the pre-designed templates, or you can use the basic layout that they have, the basic templates that they have. And I'm just going to pick the pre-designed template. So I can pick any email I want. So I'm just going to pick a simple one. Let's pick this. So after selecting this particular email, we can then decide to be able to change any of this. So you can go back to see how we created an email campaign. I already explained in detail how to use all of this feature in here, all these elements in here, and the layout and the design also. So when you are done with editing this email, then you click on proceed. And when you click on proceed, and when you click on proceed, it is going to take you to this page where it's already added in for version A. As you can see, it's showing this blue button here for version A. So that means this is the content for version A. Then we can then decide I want to create the content for version B. So we just click on this button here, create content for version B. And you can also go through the same process you went through for version A. I'm going to choose a pre-designed template, and I'm just going to use anyone. So let me use this template in here. And when I click on select template, it is going to add that particular template as my version B. Let's just ignore that and let's go to next. And when you click on next, it is saving your version A and version B. Then you can be able to decide who you want to send these campaigns to. So you can decide that you want to send it to your list. You can, when you click on list, it's going to take you to all of the lists that you have. And when you take it to all the lists that you have, you can be able to click on any of these and send it to any particular list you want to send them that the campaigns to. You can also go back to your options, and you can pick segments if you want. If you do not know how to create a segment, please refer to the segment versions of this course. I already explained how to create a segment, and you can add in whichever segments you have. So I have this segment called from Nigeria, and I can decide to send to this segment if I want. I can also go back to options, and I can pick list if I want. I can decide to pick whichever list I want. So I'm just going to pick my website list, and I'm going to click on next. And when I click on next, it is going to save this particular step, and it's going to take me to this last stage, which I can be able to send immediately, or I can also decide to send later. So if I'm sending this campaign later, I am saying that I want to schedule this into a future time, and I do not want to send it immediately, Then you can set what time you want this email campaign to go out. You can say you want it to go out, maybe let's say the 4th of October. Then you can also determine the time you want it to go out. You can say you want this email to go out by 10 a.m. and that will be added. And you can also decide to change your time zone. So because I'm in Nigeria, it is showing Africa Lagos. You can also decide to use EST time. You can decide to pick PST time or whichever time works for you. And when you are done, you can click on schedule. And if you don't want to schedule and you want to send immediately, all you need to do is just to come here and click on send immediately and click on send. So I don't want to send this campaign out, so I cannot click on send. So when you click on send, it is going to send that email out to your 6%. Remember that we are using 6%. So version A will be sent to 6% of the list you are sending them to, and version B will be sent to the also 6% of the list. So let's send later, and I'm just going to click on schedule for October 4. And when I click on schedule, as you can see, it's saying that it is going to schedule my campaign for October 4, 2025 at 10 p.m. Oh, let me use 10 a.m. Then I click on schedule and I'll click on go ahead. And as you can see, my campaign has been scheduled. I can also click on view details and I can go back to my campaign and see how this is going to work. So when you click on edit again and you go to your page 5, and as you can see, you can be able to see the preview of everything that you have set up for this campaign. So you can see the topic is marketing and this is our subject. Then we can see the sender name and we can see the sender address. We can also decide to map contacts that are not associated with any topic to the marketing topic. And we can then say that we want to, yeah, so we are doing the complete tracking for the email opens, and we're also doing the complete tracking for uh the link that is clicked in our emails. We also enabled replies so we can be able to track replies. We can also track in URL using Google Analytics if we have that connected in, and we can also set up response actions. So if any action is done, we can decide to set up a particular response action for that particular action. So let's configure this and let's see how this works. So we can say if anybody open on any version, we want to say that we want to assign a tag, or we can select whatever tag we want and we can assign that tag. Also undo another response, and we can say if they click on the email and we want to select an option for an activity, and we can say if they click on an email, we want to remove the tag and we want to remove maybe dummy contact, or we can remove whatever we want. And when you are done with all of this, you click on save, and that has been saved. So that means for everyone who open your email, they are going to be assigned a tag and they are going to be assigned this tag. And for everyone who click on your email, we are going to remove the tag, and the tag is the dummy contact tag. So we can also edit this for our A or B test. We can say that I want to change this percentage. If you want, all you need to do is just to click on edit. And when you click on edit, it's going to take you to this page where you can change the name. You can change all of this info. You can even decide that you want to decide the winner by the open rate instead of the click rate. You can also change the test duration time. So maybe hours or days, just use whichever one works for you, and you can click on next. And when you click on next, you can go back to your main page. You can also be able to preview your content details. You can see your copy by previewing this. You can preview the email for version A, and you can preview the email for version B. You can also decide to enable create campaign in CRM and update your campaign status in CRM. So that means this is going to, when this campaign is set, it is going to create this campaign in our CRM. And if this update, and also for everyone that is opening or for everyone that is clicking on this email, we can be able to see all of those actions in our Zoho CRM account. Next thing we want to do after this is to save and exist. And when you click on save and exist, your campaign has been saved. You can also preview all of these when you come over here, and you can edit also. You can also click on this and you can change in your subjects and sender details, and you can also change in your content. You can also decide to click on more, and you can download the content A HTML, and you can download the content B HTML. You can also decide to delete this campaign, or you can decide to archive this campaign. So when you go back, as you can see, we are in our campaigns page, and this campaign has been scheduled for the 4th of October. So that is how to create an A or B test in Zoho Campaigns. So the next part we'll be going to is automation. So automation is just you setting up campaigns that are going to run by themselves. And we all know that email marketing is very powerful. But when you add automation to email marketing, I can assure you that you'll become unstoppable. So automation just means you setting up campaigns that are going to run by themselves, and they are going to be triggered by all of your contact actions. Instead of you sending them out manually, you can be able to configure an action and just say that if they open an email, we want to send them another email. Or if they click on any of those links, we want to send them another email. So you can do all of this through an automation. So in Zoho campaigns, you can then decide to create a new automation, which is also known as workflows. And when you click on create workflow, it is going to take you to this page where we have the different workflows you can use. So as you can see, we have various workflows or templates which you can follow, and you can be able to do all of this. If you're starting if you're a beginner, you can use all of their templates, and you can be able to pick whichever one and configure it. You can choose their welcoming and onboarding, and you can use any of those templates. If you have any saved templates also, you can be able to click on save templates, and you can see all of the template that you have saved. And remember that you can create a workflow, and you can save that workflow, and you can reuse it. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be starting a workflow from scratch, so we can see how we can start from scratch. So you click on create workflow, and you are going to click on custom workflow, and you are going to name your workflow. So let's name this welcome series, and we click on create. Okay, so now we have the first part, which is the trigger part. And trigger part is the action that is going to happen for this workflow to work. So we can say if anybody is coming in through a form, we want them to trigger this workflow. So we can build out the workflow, and we can say if this trigger happens, then that action can be done. We also have the process where we can be able to set up conditional splits, or we can set up random splits, and we can even use an email activity, and we can also set up these conditions in our workflows. So for action is the thing that is going to be done when the trigger is triggered. Yeah, so action is something that is going to happen when the trigger happens. Then we can decide to do all of these actions in here. So we can say that we have the first trigger, which is the form submission. So we can say we can drag in the form submission in here, and we can say if anybody come in through any sign up form, or we can even say that we do not want any sign up form, but we want a specific sign up form. So if you do not know how to create a sign up form in Zoho campaigns, please refer to the section to create your sign up form. So you can also pick on a specific sign up form. And if you have your sign up form created in Zoho campaigns already, you can be able to click on that sign up form. And we are saying that if anybody is coming in through this sign up form, if anybody puts in their details in this sign up form, then we click on save, and this workflow is going to happen. Then the next one, we have the list entry. And for list entry, we can drag that in here, and we can say that if anybody is coming in into any of our list, we also want to add them to work this workflow. And we can say that we want to add in existing and new contacts from this selected list, and we can say we want to add in only new contacts, or we want to add in only existing contacts. So to add in contacts, new contacts, and existing contacts, we are saying that we want this workflow to work for everyone who is already on that list, and for any new contacts that will be added to that list. You can also decide to send to only new contacts, and you can also decide to send in only those people who are in that list already. So you can pick whichever option works for you, and you can click on save, and your list, the second trigger has been saved. So for the next trigger, we have if a contact enters a segment, and we can say that if anybody enter any segment that we have created, so you can click on your drop down and you can see the segment that you have created. You can say we want to create this workflow for anybody that is from the segment from Nigeria, or we can only create this workflow for our newsletter subscribers list. We can also say we want to add in new and existing contacts, and we click on save, and that is how to add for your the trigger for your segment. Then we have the date field, and for the date field, when you drag in the date field in here, you can be able to send this workflow based on a particular date. So you can decide that you want to use a custom date field. So for the date field, you can decide that you want to select a date field. You can select their birthdays, but you have to create that field first. So you can select their birth dates, you can select their anniversary, you can even create a date field and name it maybe contract date, or maybe name it job completion date. Just name it whatever you want, and you can be able to select those dates field from the drop down here. But since we do not have any date field, it is not showing up in here. You can also decide to select a specific date that you want this workflow to go out. So if we're having a promotional sales, we can say that we want to be able to send out this workflow as from November. So when you click on the next page, the next button here, and you can be able to see that this workflow is going to be triggered on November 1st, 2025. And we can also say that we want to allow contacts to enter at any time during the selected date. We can say we only want contact to enter into this workflow from maybe 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., or whichever works for you. You can also say that you want to allow contact to enter at a particular specific time. So we can say that we want this contact to enter by 10 a.m. on this particular date, or you can choose whichever times work for you, or you can just say that you want them to enter at any time on this 1st of November. For this next one, you can also decide to select the entry before the selected date. So we can say we want it to be a date before this particular date. So that means anything after a day before this date, no contact can be able to enter into this workflow. So we can say that we want, since the promo is going to start on the 1st, we can say we want it to be one day before the 1st. So that means by the 31st of October, nobody can be able to enter into this workflow. So we can also decide to set the criteria for this contact. We can say that we are doing this promotion for anybody that is coming from Nigeria, or we can say that we are doing this promotion for anyone that or from anyone that the contact source is from websites, or from anyone that have their email address, or for anyone that have their city. Or we can say we only want to do that this promotion for people from a particular city, so we just pick in the city, and you can say the city is, then you can add in whatever city you want. And if you do not want to use a criteria for this, if you want to send it to any contact on your page, on your account, you can just uncheck this, and that will be done. And after you are done with all of this setting here, you want to click on apply, and your date field trigger will be applied. So let me delete this. So I've deleted that. Then let's check in the next trigger, which is an email action. So for us to be able to send an email, so for us to be able to send a workflow based on an email action, we can select a particular email, and we can say that we want to check in for a specific email campaign, or we can even say that we want to use any campaign. So we can say if anybody open a campaign, or if anybody click on a campaign, or even if they replied on a campaign, or if they do a survey from our campaign, we can then decide this workflow should be triggered. So let's use click. So we can say that if any link is clicked on our emails, then this workflow should be triggered. Or we can even say if they open any of our emails, this workflow should be triggered. So we can also say that we want to allow the entry of all the contacts who have received this email campaign and have performed the action above. So this means that if you are checking this, you want to include everyone who has opened this campaign for any of our email campaigns. And we can also decide to select the specific email campaign we want to use. So since we are sending a welcome series, and we have a welcome email, so if anyone click on any link on this welcome email, or if they open this welcome email, then they will be added to this workflow. So when you're done with all of the settings, you want to click on save, and that has been saved. Then the next trigger that we have is the field update. And for the field update, we can select which particular field is going to be updated for this workflow to be triggered. So we can say that if the first name is added, if the first name exists, or if the last name exists, or we can even say if the job title include manager, we want to send out this workflow to them. Or we can say if they're from a particular city, or if they're from a particular country, or we can also say if we have their Facebook handle or their LinkedIn handle, or we can say if their birthday date is a particular date, we want this workflow to be triggered, whichever one works for you. And you can also say if the topic of interest is, then you can pick whatever option you want to use. So if the topic of interest is maybe CRM, or if the topic of interest is automation, you can just write that in, and you can click on apply. And let me just add in this contains CRM. So you can use contain, you can use is, you can use isn't, you can use is empty or is not empty. So let's use is not empty. So we are saying that if the topic of interest is not empty, that means they are interested in what we do, and we can be able to trigger this workflow. So when you are done, you click on apply, and that trigger has been applied for the field updates. So the next trigger that we have is the one for tag assigned. And for tag assigned, when you drag and drop that in, we can select whatever tag we want to use. So we can say that for anybody that is assigned any of this tag, this workflow is going to be triggered for them. So we can say that I want to click on website leads, and we are saying that if anybody is assigned these website lead tags, then this workflow will be triggered for that particular contact. So what you need to do here is just to click on the particular tag you want to use, or you can even decide to create a new tag. And when you click on create a new tag, it's going to ask you to create that tag, and you can be able to assign that tag. So let's click on cancel this, and let's use website leads, and let's click on done. So when you click on done, that your trigger is going to be updated, and as you can see, it has added that as website leads. And when anybody come in through that tag, this workflow will be triggered for them. Then the next trigger that we have is the one for tag removed. So we are saying that if we have any contact that has been added in Zoho Campaigns, and any tag has been removed from that particular contact, we want to be able to trigger this workflow. So we can say that out of all of these tags that we have, if very serious buyer tag is removed, then this workflow should be triggered. Then when you click on the tag you want to you want to add for this particular trigger, you click on done. And when you click on done, that has been added. You can also say that you want to check in for an open trigger. So for an open trigger, you can be able to import contacts from another application, from a third party application, by using API. So all you need to do is just to generate an API key, and you will be able to connect this API key to another software. So you can be able to connect that particular software to Zoho Campaigns. So when you are done, you click on save, and that has been added. Then for the other one, which you have for abandoned carts, an abandoned cart is going to work. Okay, it's saying it cannot work with other triggers. So let me just delete this. Okay, so we can decide to drag in an abandoned cart, and we can be able to select which cart. But since we do not have our e-commerce accounts integrated to Zoho Campaigns, we can then click on integrate now. Then we go through the process of integrating our e-commerce store. We can use Shopify, we can use Zoho Commerce, we can use whichever one works for you. Then you can select which cart you want to use. We can also click on the next trigger, which is the purchase follow-up. And for the purchase follow-up, is also work with our e-commerce store. So let me delete this. Then drag in purchase follow-up. We can say if anybody purchased from our store, we select the store, and we also need to integrate our e-commerce store for that. And for the next trigger, we have product specific follow-up, which is also for our store. So let me just delete this. And we have the one for cyclic trigger. And for cyclic trigger, when you click on cyclic trigger and you bring it in, you click on configure. This is like a workflow which we can trigger at every repeated time. So we can say we want this workflow to be triggered every week. So this is actually good if you are sending a particular email every week, or if you want to send a particular email every month, or you can even send it every year if that works for you. Then we can be able to select this. Let's say we want to select this every month and we want it to be repeated every month, and we can select which day of the month we want to repeat this trigger. So we can say we want to repeat this trigger at the last day of the month, and we can say that this email should go out to everyone. We can say an email should go out to everyone at the last day of the month. Let's say you want to congratulate them. We have reached the end of the month, blah 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 blah. Or you can even use the first month. We can say happy new month. We have this promo offer for you. You can also do that. You can also say that you want this email to go out at a specific time. I mean, this trigger should work at a specific time. So you can say you want this to work by 12 noon, and you also want to use Africa Lagos. You don't also want to use the time zone that works for you. Since I'm a Nigerian, I'm using Africa Lagos. So you can pick whichever time zone you are on. Also, you can use EAT, you can use EST, you can use PST, which one works for you. And you can also decide to select a criteria for this workflow. So you can also say that if you only want to send this workflow to everyone who their job title contains maybe manager, or you want to send this email to everyone who have a interested topic, or whose number of employee is a particular number, or is greater than a particular number. So just choose whichever criteria works for you, and you can click on proceed. And when you click on proceed, this trigger has been added, and it will be sent every month at a particular date of the month you added for this email to, I mean, for this workflow to be triggered. So for the next one, we have the random split. And for the random split, we can decide to drag this particular element in here. And we are saying that if you click on configure, you can see that you can be able to distribute into two parts. So that means it allows you to create two parts of workflows where contacts can be able to go through different parts in your workflow. So you can say that you want 36% to go to A, and you want 64% to go to B, or you can say you want 50%, or let's say 50. Okay. So you can also say that you want 50% to go to A and 50% to go to B. So you can, when you click on done, this is going to split your workflow into two. And if you are using this, you have to make sure that this is what you want to use, because um Zoho campaigns will be the one to determine which part is going for A and which part is going for B. So it's going to determine which contact is going to be added to A and which contact is going to be added to B. So when you click on done, you can then decide to have two triggers. This is for A. Then you can decide to drag in different action for um, the the part of A, and different actions for the part of B. So the other the other flow control that we have. Let me delete this. So the other one we have is merge, and for merge, when you drag in merge and you bring it in, the merge process, or the merge flow control, we can say we want to check in for multiple actions and we want to merge them into one. So when we are merging those multiple actions into one, we can then decide to do what is, we can decide to choose what is going to happen for the new contacts that are coming in. So we can also decide to add in this condition, which is called simple split. So for simple split, you can configure this, and you can say you want to choose a particular criteria for them to split. So instead of using 50% or 50% for A and B, you can say that if anyone has any of those criteria you want to add, then they should go to true or they should go to false. So we can also say, let's use something like, if the contact source is, then we can add in another thing. So let's say if the contact source is website. So we can say the contact source is website, and we are going to have true or false. And we can also use recipient activities actually. So let's just use this first. So we can say if the contact source is website, then we click on apply, and this is going to add this as a condition. So that means if it is true, we can decide to create another part for the people that is true for, And for the people that is forced, we can decide to create another part. So you can send a different email to those people coming from those people that have the contact us as websites. We can say something like, "Thank you for checking out our website." Or for the first people, we can say, "Check out our website to see amazing offers." Just switch this up to however you want. So that can be done. Then for the next process, we have the multi-way. And for the multi-way, we can so for the multi-way, when you click on configure, in this process, you can be able to select different paths for different people. So you can be able to choose multiple conditions. So you can even do this for contact source. So let's say we want to check in for contact source that are coming from, let's say contact source is websites. You can even add in another criteria, and you can say maybe contact source is let's say LinkedIn, and you can add in another one, and you can say if the contact source is let's use Facebook. Yeah, and this is going to distribute the people into multiple parts, so that you have the part for those people coming from websites, and you have the parts coming from those people coming from LinkedIn, and those people coming from Facebook. So it allows you to be able to have different processes for different people. Since we want our nurturing process to be personal, and we want them to be able to get what they want. You can also use this for the particular topic of interest. So if you put out a form and you want people to be able to fill out a form where they can say what they need, you can ask them if they're interested in automation, or if they're interested in email marketing, or if they're interested in social media campaigns. You can also use this as the multi-way condition. So all you need to do is just to use your field and say is maybe CRM or automation. Just switch this up whichever way you want. So the one which is for D, and this D is going to be those people who are not fitting any of this criteria. So if there's anyone who is not in any of these, then this D is going to be created for them. So as you can see, it's saying here that this separate part, which is is for contact who do not match any of this condition. So when you are done, you click on apply. And when you click on apply, as you can see, we have four different pathway for all of these. So we can decide to continue this. Let's say we want to use this for Facebook and want to use this for LinkedIn. So you can just drag in and drop multiple actions that can be done for each of them. So let me try and delete some because it's getting too much. So we have the next one, which is our email activity. And for email activity, we are saying that if any email activity is done for any of our contacts, when you click on configure, you can be able to select the particular email you want to configure this for. So this action is for if they open the email, or if they click on the email, or if they reply, or if they open and did not reply, or if they skipped, or whatever it is you want to add. You can do that. You can also select the particular email. So we created a welcome email in our campaign, and you can even use other people's email campaigns. You can use workflows, you can use autoresponders if you have that. But let's use email campaign. So let's say that if they're coming into our email campaign, which is our welcome email, and if they opened but they did not click open. So when I select open, I can then be able to select open but did not reply, or I can select open but did not click. So you just pick in whichever one works for you, or you can say click on any email, just pick whichever one works for you. So after doing all of this action, you can click on done. So you can say if they opened, but they opened and they did not reply, or if they opened but did not click on any link. So we can use this also. So that means this one is targeting everybody that opened, but they did not do any action, but they opened the email. So you can also decide to use open and replied, or you can use open and clicked on any link. Just switch this up however you want. And when you are done, you click on done, and this email activity has been created. as you can see, it splitted it into the options that we added. So we can decide to create a path for those people that open the email, and we can create another path for those people that click on any link, and we can also decide to create another path for those people who did not reply to that particular email. So that is all for process, and let's go into our actions. For actions, we can decide to do all of this action, and due to time, I'm just going to brush up each of this. So we can decide to send an email to as an action. So let's just use this. I remember that this is website. Let me create this. Let me do this. So we can say want to send out an email to anyone coming from websites, and then you can be able to create your email in your workflow. So when you click on create message, so when you click on create message, you can be able to configure all of this. You can add in a topic, you can add in a subject, you can add in your sender details, you can even add in your content. And when you want to add content, you can, or it will take you back to that page where you can pick. Please do fast. So when you click on create content, it's going to take you to this page where you can add in save templates, or you can even use the pre-designed templates, or you can use their basic templates, whichever one works for you. And when you click on take me back to my canvas, it's going to take you back to your workflow page. So you can pick whichever template you want, and that will be done. And now it has taken me back to my canvas. And the next one, we have the A and B split. And for A and B split, we can decide to create an A and B split in our workflow. Yes, that is actually possible. The A and B splits, I already described how to create this. So if you're watching this and it is a separate video, you can go back to the section for A and B splits to see how we created that. So you can create a version for A, and you can create another version for B, which is going to be version B, and you can create different message for each of them. You can also decide to check in the response if they replied or if they opened. We can then decide to do any of these, and when you click on done, that response is going to be added. And that response, if they opened, you can also decide to send another email. So you can also decide to send an SMS, and to send an SMS, you will have to configure your SMS app you want to use. So you can use Twello, you can use Zoho Campaigns also offer SMS, and you can configure this and add in the number you want, and you can connect it into Zoho Campaigns, and you can use it. So you can use Zoho Campaigns, like I said, or you can even change this and use any of the apps that they have. They have a lot which you can add in. They have the message media, they have Clickatel. You can just pick in whichever one works for you, and you add that in. So I'm just going to go back to my workflow. You can also decide to send an email survey. A survey email, and all you need to do is just to create a survey campaign, and you can send that out. You can also decide to add to a list. So let's say if they did not click on any link, we can also decide to add them into a particular list. So when you click on configure, you can be able to select the particular list you want to add them in. So let's add them into this list, and you click on done, and that has been added. And you can also decide to remove from a list. So if they do not reply, we want to remove them from a list. So we can say we want to remove them from website contacts if they do not reply, and you click on done, and they are going to be removed. Then the other one is to remove a tag and to assign a tag. You can assign a tag in this action. After adding the list, you can then assign a tag, and you can configure this and add a particular tag you want to add. And the same thing goes for to remove a tag. You just need to add in the tag you want to remove and click on done. And the other one is to add in a score. And remember that we did contact scoring in Zoho Campaigns. You can go back to that section to see how we set up the contact scoring in Zoho Campaigns. So you click on configure, and you can add in a score. So this is actually very good for open. You can decide to add in a score for if they open this email, or if they did not click on any link. You can also subtract a score by using this one. So you can also decide to subtract a score if they have not replied, or if they did not click on the link. So you just need to drag and drop that. So then the next one we have the subscription management. If an action is performed, if the SMS is sent like this one, so we can configure this and say that we want to remove them from marketing topics, or we want to remove them from so we can say that we want to add the subscription to a marketing topic. So we can say, all the topics we already created. We can say that if they do any of this action, we want to add them to this brand update topic. Or we can even say that we want to remove them from a marketing topic if you want. And we can say that we want to mark them as non-marketing contacts. And we can also say that we want to unsubscribe them from all topics. So if the contact decides to unsubscribe from our list, we can then decide to click on this action and unsubscribe them from all of our topics. So that means they would not be receiving our emails, and they are not going to get any email from any of this topic. So when you are done, you click on done, and that has been added. Then the next one, we have the update field. So if any of this action is done, we can then decide to update this particular field. Any particular field. Remember that you can use any of the, you can even use your custom field. So you just need to click here and check for the field you want to update. You can decide that if they do a particular action to update any of this field. So you can decide to update their notes, or you can decide to update whatever works for you. So for the notes, you can say, so you can say for the notes, if you want to add it, which is equals to, or you want to say is equals to plus. So for the notes, you have to use is equals to plus. And what this means is that you are saying that you want to add in another note to what existing note is already there. That is what the is equals to then plus. So you can say that you can add this note and say opened welcome email. So anytime they open the email, this is going to be added as a note to them. So when you're done, you click on done, and that has been updated. You can also decide to add in an internal notification email. You can click on configure, and you can send a particular email content to a user in your Zoho Campaigns account. So you can decide that you want to send out an email to the CRM owner, and you can decide to add the subject of the email, and you can add the email content. So if they are not opening the email, you can say you can send out an email to the owner of the particular contact and ask them to message them privately, or you can ask them to call them personally. So when you're done with adding that, you can click on done. Yeah, I had to add this. I'm just going to cancel this. Yeah, so the next one we have exist from workflow. And to use exist from workflow, you want this contact to exist this workflow. So we can say that after adding this call for not replied, we can then remove them from this workflow. So that is the meaning of this sign. That means if they get to this stage and this is done, we can then remove them from this workflow. So the next one we have the wait time, and for wait time it is also known as delay. You can decide to set in a delay for particular contacts. So you can say that before the next action is done, you want them to wait for a specific time. So you can configure this and click on this pencil button, and you can say you want to wait for maybe 1 day, or you want to wait for 7 days, or you want to wait for how many days you want to use. And you can also decide that you want this to um, immediately resume after the wait duration, or you can say you want to resume this workflow between 9 and 5 p.m., or you can say that you only want this workflow to resume on weekdays and not weekends. And you can also select the particular dates you want this workflow to resume. And when you're done, you can click on save, and that has been saved. And wait condition is actually different from wait time. Yeah. So for wait condition is actually kind of different to wait time. So while wait time is waiting um for a particular time, like day, like hour, wait condition is waiting based on certain criteria. So we can say that we want to wait until their contact score is 100 before we can move to the next section, or the next process. Or we can say that we want them to have their LinkedIn URL before we can move to the next process. And be able to configure this based on certain action. So we can say that we want to wait until we can add in the particular detail. We can say we want to wait until the LinkedIn URL is there, or we can say that we want to wait until the website address is filled, or we can say we want to wait until they perform a particular action. So we can say we want to wait until the email is opened, or until a link is clicked, or until they reply. Then we can be able to select a particular email. So we can say we want to wait until they open our welcome email before the next action can be done. So we can wait for days, or we can wait for hours, and we can say that we want to wait for 7 days and check in if they open our email. So it's going to wait for 7 days, and it's going to check if the email was opened before it can go to the next page, next action, sorry. So when you're done, you click on apply, and your wait condition has been added. So we are saying this is an if or else condition, and we are saying that even after 7 days, that is going to be true. And after 7 days, if they've not opened that email, it is going to be false. So you can decide to add in another various action for false, and you can add in various action for true. So the next one after wait condition is the move to another workflow. So we can say that after this is done, we can then decide to move the contact into another workflow. So all you need to do is to click on configure, and it is going to check in all of the workflows that you have. And remember that it's only going to check in for the activated workflow. So you have to make sure that you've created a workflow and you've added it in, and you can be able to see the workflow you can add them to. So all you need to do is to click on the workflow in your drop down and add them to another workflow when they get to any point that you want them to get to. So when you're done, you click on done, but I need to select the workflow, and I didn't have a workflow, so I'm just going to click on cancel. Yeah, so that is for move to another workflow. And the next one, we have push data. And for push data, we can decide to push our data into Zoho CRM accounts. And remember that this is for our Zoho CRM actions, and we can configure this. And we are saying that if a particular action is done, then we can push data into Zoho CRM. So you can do this for your sign up forms that is in Zoho Campaigns, and you can say that if they fill in a sign up form, you want to push that data into Zoho CRM. You can select the data that can be pushed, and you can also select the modules you want to push. If you want to push your leads, if you want to push your contact, you can select that. You can also select the account that you want to use. So I'm just going to select my own account, which is this, and that has been added. And I can decide to select the modules, and the module is going to bring in my leads, my contact, and my custom field. I mean, my custom module that has been created. So that is for patients. So I'm going to say I want to push these details into leads. So after selecting leads, that has been added, and I can decide the data I want to push in. So I can say that I want to do this for existing contacts, or I want to do this for only new contacts, only new and existing contacts, or only existing contacts, whichever works for you. So I'm just going to say I want to update existing and new contact. So it is going to update any existing contact that we have in Zoho CRM. It's going to check for the email. If the email is already existing in Zoho CRM, it's just going to update that lead. But if the email is not existing, it is going to create a new lead entirely. And when you are done with this setting, you click on next, and it's going to ask you to map the field, the Zoho campaign field, and your Zoho CRM field. So we all know that we need to map email with email, company name with company, and last name with last name. You can also decide to map in some fields from Zoho campaigns to Zoho fields. So for instance, we can map in the first name and click on this. This is for Zoho CRM fields. So we select Zoho CRM in first name. We can also select okay, contact email is mapped. We can select phone here, and we can also select phone here. So we can select websites here. So you can just type it in to make it faster. And website is here. Then we can select websites here. So all you need to do is just to add in the fields you want to map from Zoho Campaigns to Zoho CRM. And please do not make the mistake of mapping the wrong fields, because if you map the wrong fields, it is going to bring in the wrong data into Zoho CRM, and we do not want that. We want our database to be clean as possible. So you want to make sure that you are mapping the right field. And when you are done, you click on next, and you can also decide to add the source of the contact into a Zoho CRM field. You can also decide to add the source of a contact into a Zoho CRM field. So I do not want that, so I'm just going to remove that, and I'm going to click on save. And this is going to push your contact into Zoho CRM. And we also have the last option, which is to create a task after an action is done. And this task will be created in in Zoho CRM. So remember that these two actions here, are for Zoho CRM. So we can say that if they do anything, let's say if they open an email, or if they click on a particular link, or if they fill out a form, we want to create a task in Zoho CRM. So we go through the same process. We pick our account, then then we pick the module we want to choose, and we use the update existing and push new contact, then we click on next. Then we can be able to create this particular task in Zoho CRM. So we can say if they open an email, we want to be able to call them, want to create a task to call them. So we create this task and we call contact. We can decide to add in a task and call it call contact, and we can select the due date for this particular task. We can decide to select a date for the particular task, or we can select active dates like the number of tasks. Okay, so we can select the number of tasks days from creating this contact. So we can say that after 3 days or after 4 days, then that is going to be the due date. So after 4 days that this task is created in Zoho CRM, then this task should be due by then. Or we can say we want this task to be due on a specific date. We can also pick the the status of the task, and we can say it is not started, and we can set the priorities to high or low or highest. You can set it to whichever works for you, and you can decide to add in a description. So you can say something like this task is to call contact from Zoho campaign. If they open an email, you can say this task is to reach out to those people who click on a link on our website through Zoho campaign. So you do whichever one works for you, and you can decide to assign the task to a particular owner, or you can decide to assign this task based on round robin, or you can even decide to add this task to an existing CRM account owner. So that means every of the owner of the contact will be assigned this task if the action is done in Zoho campaign. So when you are done, you click on next, and it's also going to ask you to map the fields in your campaign account, and the email company and last name has been added. So I'm just going to add in the first name so we can move on, and you click on next, and you can add the source also, and you click on save, and as you can see, your task has been added. So that is all for everything under workflow. And if you are done with setting up all of this, um and I'm sorry my workflow is kind of ugly, and that is because it's for tutorial sake. Yeah, and I hope you actually understand everything that has been done. Yeah, so I'm just going to put this here and say that if you find this tutorial very helpful, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because I noticed that a lot of you that watch these tutorial videos do not subscribe. So it will go a long way if you actually do subscribe. Thank you so much as you do that. So you can also decide to activate this workflow. And when you click on activate, the workflow is going to start working. And in this case, my workflow cannot work because all of these actions has not been done. So that means it will help you to be able to see what actions has not been done, and you can also be able to set up those actions. So I have 20 things to do before I can set up this workflow. So you can also click on more to clone this, and that is going to duplicate this entire workflow. And you can also decide to delete it if you want. You can download this as an image so you can be able to share it with other users in your organization, or to share it with anyone you want to share it with. And you can also save as templates. You remember how we have workflow templates, like the way we have email templates? Yeah, this is how to save your templates. So I'm just going to save this as welcome series, and I can click on save, and this is going to add as a workflow template. So that template has been created already, and I can go back to my automation, and when I go back I can then be able to see all of the workflows I have created. So now you'll be able to see this workflow we just created, and you can also click on clone to clone it, and you can also click on delete. You can also use this filter over here, and you can be able to check the workflows that have been done by you or that have been done by other users in your organization. So when you click on me, you are going to see all the workflows that have been done by you, and you can also be able to check the status for the workflow. So you can say that you want to see all of the workflows that are active, and you want to see all the ones that are completed, or the ones in draft, or the one frozen, or all of this criteria can also be added. Then when you've added all of that criteria, you can click on apply. And when you click on apply, your workflow will be filtered. So this is actually very good if you have a lot of workflows in Zoho campaigns and you want to be able to filter some of them just to see some of the workflows that you have. So now let's go into the reporting. And for reporting, so for the reports, you can be able to see the reports for all of your sent campaigns, and we have different reports in here. You can see based on the campaigns you have sent, you can see your campaign based reports. You can also see the list based reports, and if you are sending SMS in Zoho campaigns, you can also be able to see your SMS campaign based reports. So let's start with the first one, and let's see how the sent campaigns reports look like. We can be able to see from the sent campaigns, we can see all of the campaigns that have been sent, and we can see all of the campaigns that have been sent and opened and clicked. You can also decide that you want to compare your campaigns. So when you click on compare campaign, it is going to ask you to compare multiple campaigns, so you can be able to compare the open rate, the click rate, and the bounce rate. So we are going to select this campaign here, welcome email, and we are going to send the thank you email also, and we are going to use the last one, which is the thank you email. So we are comparing three campaigns in here, and we can be able to see how each of them is faring at the same time. And as you can see, it's saying that our welcome email has 30 contacts that have been it was sent to 30 contacts, and the thank you email, the first one was sent to 17 contacts, and the second thank you email was sent to 14 contacts. Same thing applies to every one of them. You can check for the delivered, you can check for the opened, and you can check for the click, the bounce, and the unsubscribe. You can also check if you have any complaints on any of these campaigns. You can also decide that you want to select another campaign, and you can click on the campaigns that you have, and you can keep on selecting them. So you can also see that we have it over here. The summary of everything is over here. We have three campaigns, and you can see all of the centuries down to the complaints. So that is for the comparing of the campaigns. And when you go back, you can also be able to export this campaign. So when you click on export campaign, it is going to take you to this page where you can do all of this setting. So you can say that you want to check in for exporting by maybe by folders, by mailing list, or by time. So you can say you want to check for time, and you want to check for all frame, or you can even decide that you want to check for or I mean all time, or you can even decide that you want to check for the campaign sent time or the campaign created time. So you can also select all of the data you want to export. You want to check in for the click rate, the send time, the sender name. You can select all data, and when you select all data, this is all of the details that is going to be exported. You can also decide that you want to filter by campaign status, and you can say that you want to export all status, or you can say that you only want to export those that have been sent. So that is for that. You can also decide to name the file, your file name, the export file. You can name it export. Let's say want to name this export 2025. And it's also saying in here that the file that they are going to be sending to you is going to be password protected file. So they are saying that for you to be able to open this file, you have to make sure that you use the last digit of your Zoho user ID. But so when you click on export, it is going to help you export all of those campaigns based on the filter you have selected. So let's come to this and let's go back. And the next one, we have the campaign based report. And for the campaign based report, we can be able to see all of our campaigns. We can see the top 5, we can see the last 5 campaigns that we've sent, and we can also see for the last 30 days, and we can also see the yearly report to see all of the campaigns that have been sent in a year. And we can also make comparison also here, and we can make a yearly comparison. You can also decide to change the comparison. You can say that you want to check for 2023 against 2024, and when you click on that, you click on compare, and it is going to change the timeline for that comparison. You can also decide to change to quarterly if that works for you, and you can say that the first quarter is going to start for any particular time, that any particular month in here, and you can also select the year that you want to test for quarterly. And when you are done, you can click on compare, and that is going to compare your campaigns quarterly. So you can also check for the last 30 days to see all of the campaigns that have been sent in the last 30 days, and you can see the last 5 campaigns that you have sent in your Zoho Campaigns account, and you can see the top 5 campaigns that are performing well in the year 2025, or you can pick any other year that you want to add. So you can see you want to check for 2024, or you want to check for 2023, or you can even decide that you only want to check for January of a particular year, or if you want to check for February, or you can pick any of this month of any particular year. So that is for the campaign based report. And the third one, which is the list based report. So the list based report is just helping us to see all of our contact data in particular list. We can be able to see all of this drop down in here, and we can pick any of the lists that we have in our Zoho Campaigns account. And we can say we want to check for dummy contacts, and we can say that we want to see all of those contacts that have opened in this list, or we can say we want to see all of these contacts that never opened our email in this particular list, and we can say that we only want to see those people who do not open recently or never received campaign. We can also say that I want to check in the top campaigns for this particular list. We can do the yearly report for this list also, so that we can be able to see the monthly aggregates, or we can see the campaign aggregates. So we can also make comparison, and we can make comparison also the same way we made the comparison for the sent campaigns. I mean the campaign based reports. So we can change this comparison also. We can use yearly, or we can use quarterly, and we can change the years that we want to compare. And when you're done, you click on compare, and let's cancel this. So the same thing applies for all of the lists that you have in your Zoho campaign account. You can be able to switch to any of those lists and be able to see the data, the same data that we just saw uh, for for the first list. So you can check for the contact data, for top 5 campaign, and for the yearly report, and for the comparison. So the last one, which is the SMS campaign, the SMS campaign report is going to be set up when you start sending out SMS from your email from your Zoho campaigns. That is all for reports. And now let us go into our settings, and let's see how some of the settings work. So we are going to be starting with the profile, and because we have a lot of settings, I'm just going to brush through it because of time. So I'm going to start with profile, and when I click on profile, it's going to take me to this page where I can be able to change my country, and I can be able to change my region. All I need to do is just to click on edit, and I can be able to add in all of this. So I can also say that I want to change my name format, and I want to change it to last name or first name, or I can say I want to use first name then last name. In Nigeria, we use last name first then first name. So I can decide to change that, or if you are using first name then last name, you can also pick that, and you click on update. You can also change your region, you can change your country, and let me just change my country to Nigeria. So when you fill in all of this, you can be able to click on update. And the next one, we have the company detail. And for the company detail, we can be able to edit all of this information. and we can be able to change the company details in Zoho Campaigns. When you click on edit, you are going to go into this page where you can change your address, or you can change your phone number. You can also change your industry and all of this. So let's cancel this and let's go to the next one. So we can also set up notification, and we can say that we want to be able to receive notification maybe once a week at a particular time, or we can say that we want to send it to the notification after a campaign is sent, and you can make all of this decision. So you can set how and when you want to receive reports via email. So you can say you want to allow notification, or you can go ahead and not allow it. So let's just say no. So by doing this, by toggling this off, I am saying I do not want email notification. And by changing this to on, I'm saying that I want the notification. And I can say that I want to receive this notification every month. And I can say I want to receive the notification every month on day one. So I can also change the day to whatever I want, maybe to the last day, or you can use whatever works for you. And you can also set the particular time that you want to receive the report. And you can also change the time zone if you want. You can also decide that you want to select particular users and for them to be able to receive the report also. We can decide to send this report some days after this campaign is sent, and we can say we want the report to be in we can be able to download it as PDF, or we can also use the link. So when you're done, you click on save, and that will be saved. And we can also make these settings for mailing lists also. So we can say that we want to allow email notification for mailing lists when there is an opt-in. So when someone enter into a list, we can decide that we want to be able to get a notification, and we can decide to edit this, and we can enable it. And when you enable it, it's going to ask you for the frequency, and it's going to ask you for the time that you want to receive this. So when you go back, you can also see this, and it's going to ask you that if a list is deleted, a notification should be sent, and you can decide that you want the notification to be sent immediately. And for the manage opt-in, we can decide to enable double opt-in, and that means if anybody fill in our form, they are going to be sent an email so that they can be able to confirm their email address. So this is the email details that will be sent to them. So this is the subject line. You can decide to click on this pencil button, and you can edit the subject line, and you can also change the send address, and you can also write in the sender name. So you can also allow them to be able to download the free card, and you can use the character coding that you want. So after that, you can click on save preference, and when you click on save preference, your details will be saved. So this is also your email that will be sent to them when they want to subscribe to your list. And you can also decide to edit this this email, and you can write in whatever you want. So this is saying thank you for subscribing to the company name, and you can also add an additional information that you want. And this is the link that they are going to be clicking on to confirm their email. So when they confirm their email, they will be added as contacts. So when you are done, you click on save and proceed, and that is for the email, and that is for opt-in. Then the next one, we have the users. So we can be able to bring in multiple users into Zoho Campaigns. So we can say that we want to add in a user, or we want to add in a role. And when you click on adding in a user, it is going to take you to this page where you can be able to add in a user. So it's going to take you to this page where you can be able to add in the users. You can see your workspace, and you can also see the selected workspace, and you can add in a user from here. If you have multiple users in your Zoho One account, it is going to allow you to be able to select those users, and then you can add all of these users. You can assign them to campaign as users. So for the next one, after manage list, we have the roles and privilege. And for roles and privilege, it just allows you to be able to edit each person's role, and allow them to be able to um, check what they can edit, and what they can write, and what they can only view. For workspace admin, this is everything that they can do, and this is everything that they can write or edit or delete or view. And for the manager role, you can also be able to see all of the things that they can add or that they can edit. And also when you go back, you are going to do the same thing for editor or for viewer. And you can also decide that you want to add in another role, and you can be able to name the role, and you can be able to add in the permission for that role also. So you can add something like sales manager, or you can add something like production manager, and you can decide what they can see and what they can write only, or what they can see and write only. So when you click on add, the name of the role will be added, and you can be able to configure that. Then the next one we have workspace, and for workspace it's going to show you your organization ID, and you can be able to see the organization ID in case you need it. And the next one we have the email limits, and for email limits you can decide that you want to set up a limit for emails, maybe every week or every month, or you can say that the interval between every any email should be a particular date. So you can say you can edit this, and when you edit this, it is going to allow you to be able to pick the weekly limit. So if we are picking 2 emails, we are saying that the highest emails we can send in a week is just 2 emails. And if we are picking the monthly email, we are saying that the highest we want to send every month is 10 emails. So this is going to help you and help your subscribers so that they can be able to follow through with your content, and so that it is not going to be overwhelming for them. So that means even after you have reached that limit, you will not be able to send out campaign in Zoho Campaigns. And when you are done, you click on save, and that has been saved. Then after email limits, we have the campaign tracking, and for the campaign tracking, we can be able to track in the links and the open in those campaigns. And the next one we have content approval, so we can say that we want to be able to allow someone to verify the content before sent out to subscribers. So you can click on enable approval, and it is saying that I must have at least one user to enable the setting. So I cannot enable the setting because I'm the only user. And the next one we have the domain authentication. And for domain authentication, when you add a domain name, you can also be able to configure it so that domain is working in Zoho Campaigns, and so that when you send emails from the email in that domain, it is not going to go into spam. So you want to make sure that you set up your authentication, and you can add in another sender if you want. And when you add in the email address, it's going to send the verification email, and it's going to take you step by step on how you can connect both of them. So for SMS also, we can be able to check in the sender details. And when you check in the sender details, it's going to take you to this part where you need to register for your SMS. And the next part we have the next part we have the customization, and you can see your sign up pages and emails, and you can be able to update all of this. So you can update the one for the update profile, you can edit the landing page where people are going to put in the details of their profile, and you can also see the unsubscribe pages, and you can also see the telefred page, and you can see the topic, the resubscription, and all of this. And after you edit all of them, just click on save, and that will be saved. Then for custom fields, when you click on custom fields, the next one, which is custom fields, it allows you to be able to create different custom fields that are not in Zoho campaigns currently, and you can be able to create based on dates. You can be able to create based on boolean and based on category or multiple choice, whichever one suits you or whichever one works for you. Good description. So the next one we have the audit logs, and we also have the marketplace where you can be able to check different apps in the marketplace. You can be able to connect each of these to Zoho campaigns, and when you go to integration, it also allows you to be able to connect with Zapier, which is going to connect to thousands and thousands and thousands of apps. And you can also connect to Zoho Flow if that works for you. And you can see that the last one we have integration. Oh, sorry. The last one we have API, and if you want to set up API for your product and you want to connect any third parties to into Zoho campaigns, you can use the API, and you can also say, you know what, I do not want to touch that, and you can also create a webhook with a third party too. And that is everything about the settings, and also that is everything